When men seek attention or admiration from women, they often fall into the trap of focusing on surface-level tactics, whether it's wearing the latest fashion, showing off material possessions, or trying to impress with smooth lines or flashy behavior. The idea is that if they can just do the right things, say the right things, or look a certain way, they'll win the attention they crave. It's easy to see why this happens, especially in a culture that puts so much emphasis on external appearances and quick results. There's this notion that attraction is something you can manufacture or manipulate, as if it's a game with certain rules that, if followed correctly, will guarantee success. But as Stoics, we understand that true attraction doesn't come from these fleeting, superficial actions. Real attraction, the kind that lasts and creates meaningful connections, comes from something much deeper. It comes from the essence of who you are, from the discipline, character, and virtue that you cultivate in yourself. These are qualities that can't be faked or bought. They're developed over time through consistent effort, self-reflection, and a commitment to living in alignment with your values. Think about it. If you're constantly trying to manipulate someone's perception of you, then whatever connection you create is built on a shaky foundation. It's based on an image you're projecting, not on who you truly are. Eventually, that facade will crumble because it's not sustainable. You can only keep up appearances for so long before the truth starts to show. And when it does, the attraction fades because it was never built on anything real in the first place. This is why so many relationships that start with flashy gestures or manipulative tactics fall apart. They lack substance. True attraction, the kind that lasts, comes from within. It's rooted in the character and virtue that you develop over time. As Stoics, we place a high value on these internal qualities because they're what define us as men. They're not influenced by external factors like wealth, status, or physical appearance. Instead, they're the result of the inner work we do to become better versions of ourselves every day. This inner work is what makes us more attractive, not because we're trying to impress anyone, but because it naturally draws people to us. When you focus on cultivating your inner self, your discipline, your integrity, your emotional stability, you become someone who commands respect and admiration without even trying. It's not about trying to play games or follow a set of external rules to win someone over. It's about living in such a way that people are naturally drawn to you because of the qualities you possess. Women, like everyone else, are attracted to people who have a strong sense of self, who know who they are and what they stand for. One of the key components of this inner work is discipline. Discipline is what allows you to stay focused on your goals, to persevere in the face of challenges, and to live in accordance with your principles, even when it's difficult. A disciplined man doesn't need to chase after attention because he's already confident in who he is and what he's working toward. This kind of quiet confidence is far more attractive than any flashy attempt to get someone's attention. It shows that you're serious about your life, that you have direction, and that you're not easily swayed by distractions. Discipline also plays a role in how you manage your emotions. Instead of being reactive or driven by impulse, a disciplined man is able to stay calm and centered, even in difficult situations. This emotional stability is incredibly attractive because it creates a sense of safety and reliability. Women, like everyone, are drawn to people who can remain composed under pressure, who don't let their emotions control them. It signals that you're someone who can handle life's challenges with grace and resilience, which is a rare and valuable quality. Character is another critical aspect of true attraction. It's not about being perfect, no one is, but it is about striving to live in alignment with your values, being honest, and treating others with respect. Character is what defines you when no one is watching. It's how you act when you're not trying to impress anyone, when there's no reward for doing the right thing other than knowing you've stayed true to yourself. Women notice this. They notice when a man has integrity, when he's consistent in his actions and words, and when he doesn't compromise his values just to get what he wants. In a world where so many people are willing to bend the truth or act inauthentically to gain attention, A man of strong character stands out. He doesn't need to play games or manipulate situations because he's grounded in who he is. He treats people with respect because that's part of his core values, not because he's trying to get something in return. This kind of authenticity is magnetic. It's the kind of attraction that lasts because it's based on something real, something solid. Virtue, too, is an essential component of lasting attraction. As Stoics, we strive to live virtuously, aiming to embody qualities like courage, wisdom, and justice. These virtues aren't just abstract ideals, they're practical ways of living that influence how we interact with the world. Courage means facing challenges head-on instead of avoiding them. Wisdom means making thoughtful, informed decisions rather than being driven by impulse. Justice means treating others fairly and with kindness, recognizing their inherent worth as individuals. When you live with virtue, people notice. You become someone they admire, not because of any external displays of wealth or status, but because of the way you carry yourself and interact with the world. Women, in particular, are drawn to men who live virtuously because it shows that you have a solid foundation. You're not easily swayed by the superficial, and you're focused on what truly matters in life. This kind of strength, grounded in virtue, creates a lasting impression. It's also important to recognize that when you cultivate these internal qualities, you're not doing it to get something from others. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do, because it's how you want to live your life. The irony is that when you focus on becoming a better person for your own sake, you naturally become more attractive to others. It's not a game or a strategy, it's simply the result of living authentically and with purpose. As Stoics, we understand that the only thing we truly have control over is ourselves, our thoughts, our actions, and how we respond to the world around us. Trying to control how others see us or manipulating their feelings is a fruitless endeavor. Instead, we focus on what we can control, developing discipline, character, and virtue within ourselves. And as we do this, we become the kind of people who attract others naturally, not because we're trying to, but because we're living in a way that's aligned with our highest values. This is the core of true attraction. It's not about external actions or strategies. It's about who you are at your core. When you live with integrity, when you cultivate discipline and virtue, people are drawn to you because they see something real, something genuine. They see a person who's not trying to manipulate or impress, but someone who's grounded, confident, and in control of his own life. That's the kind of attraction that lasts, the kind that creates meaningful, deep connections rather than fleeting moments of attention. The first thing to understand when it comes to attraction is that most people put way too much energy into trying to control what's outside of them, especially other people's emotions. It's tempting to think that if you just say the right thing or do something impressive, you'll get the reaction you're after. But honestly, that kind of thinking is missing the mark. Instead of focusing on how to change someone else's mind or feelings, the focus should be on what you can control, yourself. The idea of making anyone feel a certain way is an illusion. You're not in charge of their emotions, only your own. And that's where the real power lies. When you start focusing inward, working on yourself, everything changes. Think about it. If you want to draw someone's attention, it's not about chasing them. It's about becoming someone they want to notice. You shift from being someone who's desperate for attention to someone who commands it naturally. There's something undeniably attractive about a person who has their life together, who has purpose, and who's not constantly seeking validation from others. Confidence isn't something you can fake or force. It's something that comes when you're grounded in your values, your purpose, and what you stand for. Most people are drawn to those who are comfortable in their own skin. It's not about trying to put on a show or being someone you're not. People can sense authenticity a mile away. And the thing is, when you're not trying too hard, when you're simply being who you are without feeling the need to impress anyone, you actually end up impressing people. Authenticity has a way of pulling people in. It's like a quiet magnetism. You don't have to shout or be loud to be noticed. You just need to be genuinely you, and that has a certain gravity to it. Women in particular tend to be drawn to men who exude a sense of calm confidence. And this isn't the kind of loud, boastful confidence that we often see in movies or on social media. It's the kind of confidence that comes from within, a calm assurance that you know who you are and what you're about. It's not tied to external things like how much money you have, the clothes you wear, or what car you drive. Those things can add flair, sure, but real confidence is rooted in something deeper. It's in your character. It's in how you handle yourself when things aren't going perfectly. It's how you respond to challenges, how you deal with setbacks, and how you stay centered when the world around you feels chaotic. That's emotional resilience, and it's incredibly attractive. It's one thing to be confident when everything's going well, but to remain composed, patient, and level-headed when things get tough. That's the kind of emotional strength that doesn't just turn heads, it keeps them turned. When you're not easily swayed by your emotions, when you don't let setbacks derail you, you give off a sense of stability. And women are drawn to that. It's like being the calm in the storm. If she knows she can trust you to keep your cool no matter what, that builds a deeper connection than any flashy move could ever create. Let's talk about discipline too. There's something about a man who is dedicated to bettering himself that's just captivating. Whether it's your physical health, your career, or your personal growth, the fact that you're committed to constantly improving says a lot about you. It shows that you're driven, that you have goals, and that you're willing to put in the effort to achieve them. And the key here is that you're not doing it for anyone else. You're doing it for you. That's a game changer. When a woman sees a man who's on a path of self-improvement, not because he's trying to impress her, but because he's genuinely invested in his own growth, it sends a powerful message. You're not stagnant, you're evolving, and that's inspiring. It's also worth noting that this discipline, this commitment to your own growth, doesn't go unnoticed. It's not something you have to announce. You don't have to tell her, "Hey, I'm working on myself." She'll see it. She'll feel it in the way you carry yourself, the way you talk, and how you handle your day-to-day life. The results speak for themselves. And when she sees that you're disciplined in your life, she'll know that you're someone who can be counted on, someone who's reliable, and that's attractive on a whole different level. Now, let's not forget about respect. This is huge. Women are incredibly perceptive, and they notice how you treat people, whether it's them, their friends, or even strangers. And the way you interact with others says a lot about your character. Showing respect isn't just about being polite. It's about treating everyone with dignity and empathy. When you're genuinely respectful, you're not putting on an act. You're reflecting your values, and that's powerful. Women can tell when a man is respectful because he feels like he has to be, versus when he's respectful because it's who he is. And guess what? The latter is the kind of man people are drawn to. Here's the thing, when you respect others, you also show that you respect yourself. A man who respects himself isn't going to tolerate mistreatment or dishonesty, but he also isn't going to be arrogant or condescending. There's a balance there. You can stand up for yourself while still being kind. You can be assertive without being aggressive. And that's a balance that women appreciate. It shows that you're mature, emotionally intelligent, and capable of handling real relationships. In all of this, the core message is simple. Attraction isn't something you force. It's something you cultivate by becoming the best version of yourself. When you're focused on your own growth, when you're grounded in your values, and when you're respectful, disciplined, and emotionally stable, you create an environment where attraction naturally follows. You don't need to chase it. And you certainly don't need to manipulate anyone into feeling a certain way. You just need to be the kind of person who attracts that attention by being the best version of yourself. As you continue working on yourself, what you'll notice is that the right kind of attention just starts to come your way naturally. When you're not obsessed with trying to get someone to like you, ironically, that's when you become the most likable. There's a real sense of freedom in that. You're no longer tied up in worrying about how to act, what to say, or how to impress someone. Instead, you're focused on becoming the person you know you can be, and that's what ends up drawing people towards you. One of the key things to keep in mind is that attraction rooted in authenticity is far more sustainable than any kind of short-term trick or game. You might be able to win someone over with flashy gestures or charm in the beginning, but those things fade quickly if they're not backed up by substance. If you build a connection based on who you really are, someone who's strong, emotionally balanced, and genuinely improving, that's the kind of connection that lasts. Let's take a moment to talk about presence. Presence is something that can't be faked, and it's a massive part of what makes someone attractive. When you're fully present in your interactions with someone, whether it's a casual conversation or a deeper connection, you give off a vibe that's hard to ignore. Being present means you're not distracted by your phone, not lost in your thoughts, not constantly thinking about what to say next. You're fully there, engaged and listening. This kind of attention is rare these days, and when you give it, people notice. For a woman, having someone who listens deeply and is fully attentive can make her feel seen and valued in a way that few other things can. It's not about giving compliments or saying the right things. It's about being there in the moment with her, fully invested in the conversation. That kind of presence communicates confidence and emotional maturity. It shows that you don't need to be the center of attention or control the narrative. You're comfortable enough with yourself to simply listen and be there. Another aspect of this is how you handle setbacks or challenges in relationships. When things don't go the way you want them to, whether it's a miscommunication, an argument, or something else that throws you off balance, your response is critical. Most people tend to react emotionally, which often leads to further conflict or misunderstanding. But if you can take a step back, breathe, and approach the situation calmly and with understanding, it changes the whole dynamic. This doesn't mean you avoid difficult conversations or suppress your feelings. It means you approach them with clarity, patience, and respect. That's the kind of emotional intelligence that people don't just respect. They're drawn to it. Think about it. When you're with someone who handles tough moments with grace and calmness, it's incredibly reassuring. It creates a sense of stability, which is something most people crave in a partner. If a woman feels that she can trust you to stay calm and rational, even when things are tough, that builds a foundation of trust and security. And trust is the bedrock of any lasting relationship. Let's not forget about the importance of balance either. A balanced life is attractive. If you're too focused on one area, whether it's work, personal goals, or even the relationship itself, you can come off as either obsessive or neglectful. Finding balance means you're giving time and energy to different parts of your life, your health, your career, your relationships, and your personal growth. When you're well-rounded, it shows that you're capable of managing different aspects of your life, which again signals maturity and stability. Women notice this. They notice when you're able to juggle different responsibilities without becoming overwhelmed or losing your sense of self. Balance also extends to how you treat yourself. If you're constantly working, grinding and hustling, but never take time to rest or enjoy life, that lack of balance will catch up with you. A man who knows how to take care of himself, both physically and mentally, shows that he values his own well-being, which is attractive in its own right. Self-care is a form of self-respect. When you treat your body and mind well, it reflects outwardly, and others will take notice. Another key point to understand is that attraction isn't about perfection. In fact, trying to appear perfect is often a turn-off. Nobody is perfect, and pretending to be can make you seem disingenuous or unrelatable. What's more attractive is how you handle your imperfections. Are you open about your flaws? Do you accept them and work on them without letting them define you? Do you have the humility to admit when you're wrong and the courage to grow from your mistakes? These are the things that create depth in a person and make them truly magnetic. A man who's always striving to be perfect or to hide his flaws will come across as insecure or even exhausting to be around. But a man who's comfortable with who he is, flaws and all, is someone who radiates confidence. He's not trying to prove anything to anyone. He's simply living his life in alignment with his values, and that kind of self-assuredness is compelling. It's the difference between someone who needs external approval and someone who's content with who they are. Ultimately, the goal isn't to make anyone obsessed with you. The real objective is to become someone who's so comfortable in his own skin, so focused on his own growth, and so respectful in his interactions with others that people are naturally drawn to you. It's not about manipulating anyone's emotions. It's about being a person of value. When you live with purpose, when you show up with authenticity, and when you maintain emotional stability and respect in all areas of your life, that's what creates lasting connections. Attraction, real attraction, isn't about tricks or games. It's about becoming the kind of person who others want to be around because of who you are, not because of what you're trying to do. When you shift your focus inward and work on becoming the best version of yourself, everything else follows. You don't need to chase validation or approval. You become someone who naturally attracts it without even trying. And that's far more powerful than anything else. When it comes to emotional resilience, this is where many people slip up. Most of us are so reactive to what's happening around us, especially in relationships, that we end up causing more damage than we realize. But if you can master your emotions, that changes everything. Emotional resilience isn't about shutting down your feelings or pretending that you don't care. It's about understanding your emotions, being aware of them, and learning how to respond instead of react. In relationships, whether it's with women or anyone else, people tend to mirror the energy you bring into the room. If you're calm, composed, and centered, the other person is more likely to meet you there. On the flip side, if you're anxious, insecure, or emotionally all over the place, that energy often spreads, and the whole interaction gets tainted by it. Emotional resilience gives you the ability to set the tone. When you're steady, others feel safe and comfortable around you, and that's a massive factor in attraction. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment, especially when emotions are running high. Maybe you're in a disagreement, or maybe you're just feeling insecure about where things are heading. The natural impulse is to react, to get defensive, to argue, to try to prove yourself. But those reactions are often driven by fear, and when fear takes the wheel, things can spiral out of control quickly. Emotional resilience gives you the strength to pause, to take a breath, and to approach the situation with clarity instead of panic. That pause, that moment of stillness, is incredibly powerful. It gives you a chance to ask yourself, what's really going on here? What's the best way to respond? What do I want the outcome of this situation to be? By taking that step back, you're able to stay in control of your emotions rather than letting your emotions control you. And that kind of self-control is attractive. It shows that you're mature enough to handle difficult situations without losing your cool. Women and people in general respect that kind of emotional strength. Think about the last time you witnessed someone completely lose their temper or get overly emotional in a situation. Chances are it wasn't a great look. We've all been there, and we've all had moments where we let our emotions get the best of us. But the difference between someone who's emotionally resilient and someone who isn't is the ability to learn from those moments and handle them differently in the future. It's not about being perfect, it's about growing and getting better at managing your reactions. When you're emotionally resilient, you're not easily thrown off balance. You don't let small things rattle you, and you certainly don't allow someone else's emotions to dictate your behavior. This is crucial in relationships. When a woman sees that you can stay grounded even when things get tough, it creates a sense of trust. She knows that she can rely on you to be steady, even when she's feeling overwhelmed or emotional herself. This doesn't mean you're unemotional or indifferent. It means you have the strength to remain present and supportive without getting swept up in the chaos. Emotional resilience also means you're able to handle rejection or setbacks without letting them destroy your self-esteem. In the world of dating and relationships, not everything is going to go your way. Sometimes things just don't work out, and that's okay. But instead of taking it personally or letting it shake your confidence, a resilient man can take it in stride. You understand that one person's opinion or one outcome doesn't define your worth. You're able to move on with grace, and that's a rare quality. Women and people in general are drawn to those who aren't afraid of failure. When you're resilient, you're not afraid to take risks, to put yourself out there, or to be vulnerable, because you know that even if things don't go perfectly, you'll be okay. You're not fragile. You don't crumble at the first sign of trouble. Instead, you adapt, you learn, and you keep moving forward. This kind of strength is not only attractive, but also deeply reassuring. It shows that you're someone who can handle whatever life throws at you. Another important aspect of emotional resilience is how you deal with stress. Life is full of stressors: work, family, finances, and of course, relationships. How you manage stress is a direct reflection of your emotional health. If you're constantly stressed out and letting it affect your mood, your behavior, and your interactions with others, that's going to have a negative impact on your relationships. But if you can manage stress in a healthy way, whether through exercise, meditation, or simply by maintaining a positive perspective, you show that you're in control of your life. Stress is inevitable, but how you handle it makes all the difference. When you're able to stay calm and composed under pressure, it's a sign that you're emotionally resilient. You're not letting life's challenges overwhelm you, and that makes you someone who others feel comfortable around. A woman will notice if you're able to keep your cool in stressful situations. She'll see that you're someone who can be a rock in difficult times, and that creates a sense of safety and security in the relationship. Emotional resilience also ties into your ability to communicate effectively. When you're emotionally reactive, communication can become messy. You might say things you don't mean or misinterpret what the other person is saying because you're caught up in your own emotional response. But when you're emotionally resilient, you're able to listen more deeply and respond more thoughtfully. You're not just reacting to what's being said, you're processing it, considering it, and then responding in a way that's constructive rather than destructive. This kind of communication is key in any relationship. It allows for healthy dialogue, even in difficult conversations. Instead of escalating conflict, you're able to de-escalate it by staying calm and rational. This doesn't mean you avoid conflict altogether. It just means you approach it with a level head and a desire to find a resolution, rather than simply winning the argument or proving a point. Women appreciate a man who can communicate clearly and calmly, even when emotions are running high. At the core of emotional resilience is a strong sense of self. When you know who you are and what you stand for, you're less likely to be swayed by external factors. You're not constantly seeking approval or validation from others because you're confident in your own worth. This self-assurance allows you to handle rejection, conflict, and even success with grace. You don't let the ups and downs of life dictate how you feel about yourself. You stay grounded, and that stability is incredibly attractive. When a woman sees that you have this inner strength, she'll feel more drawn to you, not because you're trying to make her obsessed, but because you're someone who brings peace and security into her life. You're not adding to her stress, you're helping to alleviate it. You're not feeding into drama or emotional chaos. You're offering a steady hand. That kind of presence is magnetic. It's the kind of thing that keeps people coming back because they feel good when they're around you. Emotional resilience doesn't just make you more attractive, it makes you a better partner, a better friend, and a better person. It's the foundation for healthy, lasting relationships because it allows you to navigate the inevitable challenges with grace and patience. You're able to show up as your best self, even when things get tough, and that's what builds deep, meaningful connections. By focusing on building your emotional resilience, you're not just making yourself more attractive, you're also preparing yourself for the ups and downs of life, both in relationships and beyond. And when you have that kind of strength, people will be naturally drawn to you because they'll feel the calm, confident energy you bring into every situation. Building emotional resilience doesn't happen overnight, and it's not something you can learn from a book or a single life lesson. It's the result of ongoing practice, self-awareness, and a willingness to look at your own emotions honestly. This process requires a level of humility that many people struggle with, but it's also the foundation of true growth. One way to strengthen your emotional resilience is by embracing discomfort. We live in a society that's all about avoiding discomfort, whether it's emotional, physical, or even mental. But the truth is, growth happens in discomfort. When you face challenges head-on, instead of running from them, you build inner strength. Think about it. Every time you handle a tough situation, every time you sit with an uncomfortable emotion, instead of trying to distract yourself or push it away, you're building emotional muscle. You're proving to yourself that you can handle more than you thought you could. This mindset shift can change everything in how you approach relationships. Instead of trying to avoid difficult conversations or awkward moments, you start to see them as opportunities for growth. You recognize that every challenge you face, every emotional hurdle you overcome, is another step toward becoming stronger, more resilient, and more grounded. And women will notice this. They'll see that you're not afraid to face what's difficult, that you're not the kind of man who shies away from emotional depth or tough moments. This willingness to engage with discomfort, to lean into it rather than avoid it, sets you apart. It shows that you're mature and capable of handling life's complexities. Another important part of building emotional resilience is learning how to manage your thoughts. Our emotions are often triggered by the way we interpret situations, not necessarily by the situations themselves. For example, if someone says something that feels like a criticism, you might immediately feel defensive or hurt. But if you take a moment to question the thought that triggered the emotion, you might realize that your interpretation was off. Maybe the person wasn't criticizing you at all, or maybe, even if they were, it's not as big of a deal as it initially felt. By learning to manage your thoughts, you gain a level of control over your emotional responses. You start to realize that you have a choice in how you interpret situations, and that choice directly affects how you feel. This doesn't mean you suppress your emotions or ignore them. Instead, it means you approach them with curiosity and mindfulness. You ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What thoughts are driving this emotion? Is my reaction based on reality, or am I letting my mind run away with me? When you become more aware of your thoughts and how they influence your emotions, you're able to navigate relationships with much more clarity and ease. You're not constantly reacting to every little thing, and you're not letting your insecurities drive your behavior. Instead, you're responding from a place of self-awareness and calm. This kind of emotional intelligence is incredibly attractive because it shows that you're in control of your inner world, and that control brings a sense of peace and stability to any relationship. Part of this emotional resilience also involves letting go of the need for constant approval. So many people, especially in relationships, are trapped in this endless cycle of seeking validation from others. They want to know that they're liked, that they're appreciated, that they're wanted. But the problem with seeking approval is that it puts your sense of self-worth in someone else's hands. When you rely on others to validate you, you're essentially giving them control over how you feel about yourself. Emotional resilience means breaking free from that need for external validation. It means recognizing that your worth isn't tied to what anyone else thinks of you. You validate yourself through your own actions, through the way you live your life, and through the values you uphold. When you stop needing constant approval, you become more attractive because you're no longer acting out of insecurity. You're not constantly fishing for compliments or reassurance. Instead, you're secure in who you are, and that security allows others to relax around you. Women, like everyone else, are naturally drawn to people who are comfortable in their own skin. When you're not looking for approval or constantly second-guessing yourself, you create an atmosphere of ease and confidence. You're able to be present without worrying about how you're being perceived. That kind of presence is magnetic because it's rare. So many people are stuck in their heads, constantly worrying about what others think, that when someone comes along who's genuinely at peace with themselves, it stands out. Let's talk about another aspect of emotional resilience, the ability to handle rejection or disappointment without losing your sense of self. Rejection is a part of life, especially when it comes to relationships. Not every connection is going to work out, and that's okay. But for many people, rejection can feel like a blow to their self-esteem. They take it personally, as if it's a reflection of their worth. But emotional resilience allows you to see rejection for what it really is, just part of the process. It's not an indictment of who you are or your value as a person. Sometimes things just don't align. Maybe it wasn't the right time, or maybe the connection wasn't as strong as you thought. Whatever the case, you're able to accept it, learn from it if there's something to learn, and move on without letting it affect your confidence. When a man can handle rejection or disappointment with grace and composure, it speaks volumes about his emotional maturity. It shows that he's not fragile, that he's not going to crumble just because things didn't go his way. Women notice this. They notice when a man can handle setbacks without becoming bitter, defensive, or overly emotional. It shows that you have a healthy relationship with yourself and that you're not dependent on external outcomes for your happiness. This emotional resilience also plays into how you deal with criticism or feedback in relationships. No one is perfect, and we all have areas where we can improve. But how you respond to feedback says a lot about your emotional health. If you get defensive or angry when someone points out something you could work on, that's a sign of insecurity. But if you're able to take the feedback with an open mind and see it as an opportunity to grow, that's a sign of emotional strength. Women are often drawn to men who are open to growth and self-improvement, not because they want to change them, but because it shows that the man is mature enough to acknowledge that he's not perfect and that he's willing to put in the effort to become better. When you're emotionally resilient, you don't see criticism as an attack on your character. Instead, you see it as valuable input that can help you grow, both as an individual and in the relationship. Ultimately, emotional resilience is about becoming the kind of person who can weather life's storms without losing your center. It's about being adaptable, learning from your experiences, and growing stronger through the challenges you face. When you have that kind of inner strength, you naturally attract people who are drawn to your stability, your calm, and your confidence. Discipline is one of those things that everyone talks about, but few people actually practice. It's not the most glamorous trait, and it certainly isn't something you can easily showcase in an Instagram post or a social media update. But make no mistake, discipline is one of the most attractive qualities a man can have. When you're disciplined, you're showing the world and yourself that you're serious about your life, your goals, and the things that matter to you. In relationships, discipline plays a much bigger role than most people realize. It's not just about being disciplined in your work or your fitness routine, though those are important too. It's about having the discipline to show up consistently, to be reliable, to do what you say you're going to do, and to stay true to your values, even when it's not easy. Women notice this. They notice when a man is disciplined in all areas of his life because it signals that he has control over himself and his choices. He's not a slave to his impulses or emotions, and that kind of self-control is incredibly appealing. Let's start with one of the most obvious forms of discipline, your physical health. This is often the first thing people think about when they hear the word discipline, and for good reason. Taking care of your body shows that you respect yourself and that you're willing to put in the work to maintain your health and fitness. It's not about having six-pack abs or looking like a model. It's about the fact that you're committed to staying healthy and strong. When you're disciplined about your physical health, it doesn't just benefit you, it benefits everyone around you, especially in relationships. Your energy is higher, your mood is more stable, and you're more capable of handling stress when you're physically fit. Plus, let's be real, physical attraction is a part of relationships. When a woman sees that you take care of yourself, that you're disciplined enough to exercise regularly, eat well, and maintain your body, it sends a strong message. It shows that you care about your longevity, your appearance, and your overall well-being. That kind of self-care naturally translates into how you care for others, including the woman in your life. But discipline goes far beyond just your physical health. It extends to every area of your life. Take your career, for example. Are you disciplined in how you approach your work? Do you show up consistently, put in the effort, and aim to improve over time? Or do you coast by, doing the bare minimum just to get through the day? Women notice this too. They notice when a man is ambitious, driven, and disciplined in his professional life. It's not about how much money you make or the title you hold. It's about your attitude toward your work. Are you committed to growth and progress? Are you disciplined enough to keep pushing even when things get tough? A disciplined man doesn't just work hard when he feels like it or when things are going smoothly. He shows up day in and day out, even when it's challenging, even when he's tired, and even when the results aren't immediate. This kind of consistency is what sets disciplined people apart from the rest. It's easy to be motivated for a short burst of time, but it takes real discipline to maintain that effort over the long term. Women respect and admire this kind of determination because it shows that you're not just in it for short-term gains, you're playing the long game. Another area where discipline is crucial is in your personal growth. Are you disciplined about continuously improving yourself, both mentally and emotionally? This could mean reading, learning new skills, or working on your emotional intelligence. Personal growth isn't something that just happens by accident. It requires intention and, yes, discipline. It's easy to get comfortable, to stick with what you know, and to avoid challenges that push you out of your comfort zone. But disciplined men are constantly seeking ways to improve themselves. They're not content with staying stagnant, and they recognize that growth is a lifelong journey. This kind of personal discipline is incredibly attractive because it shows that you're invested in becoming the best version of yourself. You're not just going through life on autopilot, you're actively working on getting better, both for yourself and for the people in your life. Women are drawn to men who have this growth mindset because it signals that you're not afraid of change or challenge. You're willing to put in the effort to evolve, and that kind of mindset is contagious. Let's talk about another form of discipline that's often overlooked but incredibly important in relationships: emotional discipline. It's easy to be disciplined in things like work or fitness because they're external. You can measure your progress, set goals, and see tangible results. But emotional discipline is a whole different ballgame. It's about managing your emotions, staying calm in stressful situations, and not letting your feelings control your actions. Emotional discipline means not flying off the handle when something goes wrong. It means being able to take a step back, breathe, and approach situations with a level head, even when emotions are running high. This kind of discipline is essential in relationships because emotions can be intense and conflict is inevitable. But how you handle those emotions, especially in the heat of the moment, says a lot about your emotional maturity. Women notice when a man has emotional discipline. They notice when you're able to stay calm during an argument, when you don't let anger or frustration get the best of you, and when you're able to communicate effectively even when things are tense. Emotional discipline shows that you're in control of yourself, and that kind of self-mastery is incredibly attractive. It creates a sense of stability and trust in the relationship because she knows that you're not going to let your emotions dictate your behavior. Another key aspect of discipline is in how you handle your time. Time is one of the most valuable resources we have, and how you choose to spend it says a lot about your priorities. Are you disciplined in how you manage your time, or do you let it slip through your fingers without much thought? Women notice when a man is disciplined about his time because it shows that he's intentional about how he lives his life. It's easy to get caught up in distractions, social media, mindless TV, endless scrolling, but disciplined men know the value of their time and guard it carefully. Being disciplined with your time also means that you're not wasting it on things that don't matter. You're focused on what's important, your goals, your relationships, your personal growth, and you're not letting distractions pull you away from those things. Women respect a man who has his priorities straight, who knows what he wants, and who's disciplined enough to go after it without getting sidetracked by every little thing. Discipline also shows up in your relationships themselves. Are you disciplined in how you approach your relationship with the woman in your life? Are you consistent in how you treat her, in the effort you put into the relationship, and in the way you show up for her? Relationships require discipline just like anything else. It's not enough to show up when it's easy or when you feel like it. You need to be disciplined in your commitment to making the relationship work, even when it's challenging, even when the honeymoon phase has passed, and even when life gets in the way. Discipline in relationships means being intentional about how you communicate, how you handle conflict, and how you continue to invest in the relationship over time. It's about showing up with the same energy and effort on day 100 as you did on day 1. Women appreciate this kind of consistency because it shows that you're serious about the relationship and that you're not going to take it for granted. Discipline isn't about being rigid or inflexible, though. It's about having the self-control and the commitment to stick to the things that matter, even when it's not easy. It's about setting boundaries for yourself, knowing what you want, and having the discipline to stay the course, no matter what distractions or challenges come your way. And this is where many people fall short. They have good intentions, but they lack the discipline to follow through. But when you can develop this kind of self-discipline in all areas of your life, you become someone who is reliable, focused, and ultimately deeply attractive. Women are drawn to men who are disciplined because it signals that you're in control of your life. You're not easily swayed by temptations or distractions, and you have the ability to stay the course even when things get tough. That kind of consistency and reliability is rare, and it's something that women notice and appreciate. It shows that you're someone who can be counted on, someone who takes responsibility for his actions and his life. And that's the kind of man people want to be around, whether in romantic relationships or in life in general. When you commit to being disciplined, you're not just improving yourself, you're improving the quality of your relationships and your life as a whole. And that's where true attraction comes from. It's not about impressing someone in the moment. It's about becoming someone who consistently shows up as his best self, day in and day out. That's the kind of discipline that creates real, lasting connections. Discipline in relationships isn't always easy to maintain, especially when the novelty starts to wear off. It's tempting to relax, to start putting in less effort as things become more comfortable. But this is where true discipline comes into play, when the initial excitement fades and you're left with the everyday realities of maintaining a strong, healthy connection. That's when you need to dig deep and continue to show up with the same energy and intention as you did in the beginning. In relationships, being disciplined means making time for each other, even when life gets busy. It's easy to let work, hobbies, or other responsibilities take over and put your relationship on the back burner. But when you're disciplined, you prioritize what's important, and that includes the woman in your life. It means making time for regular check-ins, date nights, or simply spending quality time together. Discipline is about being intentional, ensuring that your relationship continues to grow and evolve rather than becoming stagnant. It's not just about grand gestures or romantic dates either. Discipline shows up in the little things: how you communicate, how you listen, and how you handle everyday challenges. Are you disciplined enough to stay patient when there's a disagreement? Are you able to keep your cool instead of letting frustration take over? These small moments of discipline build trust and security over time. Women appreciate when a man can handle the day-to-day challenges of life and relationships with steady, thoughtful action. Another critical aspect of discipline in relationships is how you manage your commitments. When you say you're going to do something, do you follow through? Are you dependable, or do you let things slide when they're inconvenient? Women notice this. They notice if you're someone who keeps your word, whether it's something as small as showing up on time or as significant as following through on a promise. Being disciplined about your commitments signals that you're serious about the relationship and that you respect her time and energy. It shows that you're someone who can be trusted, which is key to building a deep, lasting connection. Discipline also comes into play when it comes to personal boundaries. In a relationship, it's easy to get swept up in the other person's emotions, desires, or expectations, sometimes at the expense of your own. But discipline means knowing where to draw the line, respecting your own boundaries, and maintaining a sense of self even within the relationship. This doesn't mean being distant or emotionally unavailable. It means having the discipline to balance the relationship with your own personal needs and goals. Women respect a man who can maintain his sense of self, who doesn't lose his identity in the relationship, and who has the discipline to uphold his own values and boundaries. Boundaries also extend to how you manage external influences in the relationship. Whether it's family, friends, or other social pressures, being disciplined means protecting your relationship from outside interference. It means having the strength to prioritize your partner and your connection, even when others might try to sway you in different directions. This kind of discipline creates a protective space around the relationship, where both you and your partner feel secure and valued. In addition to protecting your relationship, discipline helps you nurture it. Relationships need care and attention, just like anything else that you want to grow. This could mean checking in with your partner regularly, addressing issues as they arise instead of letting them fester, or simply being there when she needs you. It's about consistency, the discipline to keep showing up even when things aren't perfect. Women appreciate when a man is proactive in maintaining the health of the relationship, rather than waiting for problems to become crises before taking action. A disciplined man doesn't just wait for things to happen, he takes responsibility for his role in the relationship. He actively seeks to improve communication, strengthen the emotional connection, and deepen the bond. This kind of initiative doesn't go unnoticed. It shows that you're invested, that you're serious, and that you're willing to put in the work to make the relationship thrive. Women respect and are attracted to a man who doesn't just coast through relationships, but approaches them with intention and effort. Another area where discipline makes a huge difference is in how you manage your emotions. We've already touched on emotional discipline, but it's worth diving deeper because it's so important in maintaining a healthy relationship. Emotions can be overwhelming at times, and it's easy to let them get the best of you. But a disciplined man knows how to process his emotions in a healthy way. He doesn't bottle them up or let them explode. Instead, he takes the time to understand what he's feeling and why. This emotional awareness is key to handling conflict in relationships. When disagreements arise, as they inevitably do, a disciplined man can stay calm and work through the issue without letting his emotions spiral out of control. He doesn't react impulsively or say things he'll regret later. Instead, he takes a step back, evaluates the situation, and responds thoughtfully. Women notice and appreciate this kind of emotional discipline because it creates a sense of safety and stability in the relationship. She knows that even when things get tough, you won't fly off the handle or shut down emotionally. Discipline is also crucial when it comes to self-improvement within a relationship. No relationship is perfect, and there's always room for growth, both individually and as a couple. A disciplined man is willing to reflect on his actions, his behavior, and his contributions to the relationship. He's not afraid to admit when he's wrong or when there's something he can work on. This kind of self-awareness and commitment to growth is incredibly attractive because it shows that you're not just coasting, you're actively working to be a better partner. Women respect a man who's humble enough to acknowledge his shortcomings and disciplined enough to do something about them. It shows that you're serious about the relationship and that you're willing to put in the effort to make it better. This kind of discipline creates a foundation for long-term success in the relationship because you're not just focusing on the present, you're investing in the future. Discipline also comes into play in how you balance the various aspects of your life. Relationships are important, but so are your career, your personal interests, and your friendships. A disciplined man knows how to juggle these different areas without letting one take over entirely. He's able to give his relationship the attention it deserves while still pursuing his goals and maintaining his independence. This balance is attractive because it shows that you're well-rounded, that you have a life outside of the relationship, and that you're not dependent on your partner for your sense of identity. Women appreciate when a man has his own passions, interests, and goals. It creates a dynamic where both partners are growing individually while also growing together. This kind of balance is only possible through discipline. Discipline to manage your time, prioritize your responsibilities, and make room for the things that matter most. It shows that you're someone who has his life together, someone who's in control, and someone who knows how to balance his personal growth with the growth of the relationship. At the end of the day, discipline is the key to building a strong, lasting connection. It's about consistency, showing up when it counts, and doing the work even when it's not easy. Women are drawn to men who are disciplined because it signals that you're serious about your life and your relationships. You're not just going through the motions, you're actively working to improve yourself, your connection with her, and your overall happiness. In a world where so many people are easily swayed by distractions or give up at the first sign of difficulty, discipline sets you apart. It shows that you have the strength, the focus, and the commitment to stay the course, no matter what. And that's what makes you truly attractive, not just in the short term, but in a way that builds deep, meaningful connections that last. Discipline is about showing up as the best version of yourself every day for yourself and for the people you care about. And that's what ultimately draws women to you. Respect and kindness are often undervalued in conversations about attraction, but they are two of the most powerful qualities a person can possess. In relationships, they're not just nice-to-haves. They're essential for building something meaningful and lasting. Respect at its core is about recognizing the worth of the other person, valuing their opinions, their emotions, and their individuality. When you respect someone, you're acknowledging that they're just as important as you are, and that they deserve to be treated with consideration and care. Respect in relationships starts with how you see the other person. Do you view them as a partner, an equal, someone who brings value to your life? Or are you more focused on what they can do for you, on how they fit into your world? Women, like everyone else, are incredibly attuned to whether or not they are being respected. They can feel when they're truly being listened to, when their feelings are being considered, and when their boundaries are being honored. When you show a woman respect, you're not just making her feel valued, you're laying the groundwork for a strong, trusting relationship. Respect also shows up in how you communicate. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it. Are you listening when she talks, or are you waiting for your turn to speak? Are you genuinely interested in her thoughts and feelings, or are you just going through the motions? Respectful communication means you're engaged in the conversation, fully present, and making the other person feel heard. This kind of listening creates a sense of connection that goes far beyond surface-level attraction. It's not just about agreeing with everything she says. It's about taking the time to understand where she's coming from, even when you don't see eye to eye. When you respect someone, you also respect their boundaries. Boundaries are a big part of any healthy relationship, and they can be physical, emotional, or mental. A woman will notice if you're someone who respects her boundaries, whether it's something as simple as giving her space when she needs it, or being mindful of her emotional limits. Respecting boundaries shows that you're considerate, that you care about her comfort, and that you're not just focused on your own needs. It also shows emotional intelligence, because you're aware enough to pick up on her cues and respond accordingly. Another important aspect of respect is how you handle conflict. Disagreements are inevitable in any relationship, but the way you approach them says a lot about your character. A respectful man doesn't resort to insults, manipulation, or dismissiveness during an argument. Instead, he approaches the situation with patience and understanding. He listens to her perspective, even if he doesn't agree with it, and he tries to find a resolution that honors both of their feelings. This kind of respectful conflict resolution is crucial for building trust because it shows that you can handle tough conversations without making the other person feel small or unheard. Respect isn't just about the big moments either. It shows up in the everyday actions that may seem small, but add up over time. Are you consistent in how you treat her? Do you follow through on your commitments? Do you make her feel appreciated, not just when things are going well, but all the time? Respect is about being reliable, being someone she can count on, and showing that you value her presence in your life. When a woman feels respected on a consistent basis, it strengthens the bond between you two, making the relationship feel safe and secure. Now, let's talk about kindness. Kindness is often overlooked in discussions about attraction because it's seen as something soft, something that doesn't necessarily drive desire. But the truth is, kindness is one of the most attractive qualities you can have. It shows that you have empathy, that you care about other people's feelings, and that you're not just in it for yourself. Kindness isn't about grand gestures or over-the-top acts of generosity. It's about how you treat people, day in and day out. Kindness is shown in the little things. How you greet her when you walk into the room, how you check in on her when she's having a tough day, how you offer support without being asked. It's about being considerate of her feelings and making sure she feels cared for, even when there's nothing in it for you. Women notice when a man is kind because it signals that he's emotionally mature and capable of nurturing a relationship. It shows that you're someone who can be compassionate, who can be thoughtful, and who can be trusted with her heart. Kindness also extends to how you treat other people. A woman will notice if you're kind to her, but rude or dismissive to others. How you treat the waiter at a restaurant, how you speak to your family, how you interact with people who can't do anything for you. These are all indicators of your true character. If you're only kind when it benefits you, or when you're trying to impress someone, that's not genuine kindness. True kindness is about consistently treating others with dignity and respect, no matter the situation. When a woman sees that you treat everyone with kindness, it tells her that you're not just putting on an act for her, you're genuinely a good person. Kindness also plays a big role in how you respond to her vulnerabilities. Everyone has moments of insecurity, fear, or doubt, and how you respond to those moments matters. When a woman opens up to you, whether it's about something small or something deeply personal, your kindness in that moment is crucial. Are you patient with her feelings? Do you offer comfort and reassurance? Or do you brush her off, making her feel like her emotions aren't important? A kind man is one who makes the other person feel safe to be themselves, flaws and all. This kind of kindness creates an environment where both people can grow emotionally and feel supported. It's also important to remember that kindness isn't weakness. Some people think that being kind means being a pushover, that if you're too nice, people will take advantage of you. But real kindness comes from strength. It's about being compassionate and caring while still maintaining your boundaries and your self-respect. A kind man isn't someone who lets others walk all over him. He's someone who stands up for what's right, but does so with grace and empathy. This balance between kindness and strength is incredibly attractive because it shows that you can be both caring and assertive. In relationships, kindness helps build emotional intimacy. When you're kind to someone, you're creating a space where they feel valued and appreciated. This kind of emotional safety is what allows a relationship to deepen over time. Women are drawn to men who make them feel seen, heard, and supported. And kindness is the vehicle that makes that happen. It's not about grand romantic gestures. It's about consistently showing up with care and thoughtfulness. Respect and kindness together create a powerful combination. When a woman feels respected, she feels valued as an individual. When she feels kindness, she feels emotionally safe and supported. These two qualities work hand in hand to create a relationship that is not only attractive, but deeply fulfilling. You're not just someone who's chasing after her attention. You're someone who's creating a foundation for a meaningful connection. Kindness also helps smooth out the rough patches in any relationship. When things get tough, whether it's due to external stress or internal conflict, kindness is what helps you navigate those moments with patience and understanding. A man who responds with kindness during difficult times is someone who can be trusted to stay calm and compassionate, even when emotions are high. This creates a sense of security in the relationship, where she knows that no matter what, you'll be there with kindness and support. But kindness isn't just about how you treat her, it's also about how you treat yourself. Self-kindness is an often overlooked aspect of personal growth, but it's incredibly important. Are you kind to yourself when you make mistakes? Do you practice self-compassion when things don't go as planned? A man who can be kind to himself is someone who's emotionally resilient. He doesn't beat himself up over failures or shortcomings. Instead, he learns from them, grows from them, and treats himself with the same kindness he offers others. Women notice when a man has this kind of self-compassion. It shows that you're not reliant on external validation to feel good about yourself, that you can handle your own inner world with care and respect. This kind of emotional maturity is attractive because it means you're not looking for her to fix you or to fill some emotional void. You're already whole, and your kindness toward yourself reflects that. In the end, respect and kindness are about creating a healthy, balanced dynamic in the relationship. They're the qualities that allow a relationship to grow, to weather challenges, and to thrive. When you treat a woman with respect, you're showing her that she's valued for who she is. When you treat her with kindness, you're creating a space where she feels emotionally safe and supported. Together, these two traits build the kind of connection that goes beyond surface-level attraction and creates something meaningful, something that lasts. Respect and kindness aren't just about what you do in the good times. They're about how you show up in the tough moments, how you handle conflict, and how you treat the people around you. Women are drawn to men who embody these qualities because they signal emotional intelligence, maturity, and strength. They're not flashy traits, but they're the ones that build lasting connections, the ones that make a relationship feel safe, stable, and fulfilling. Respect and kindness are the glue that hold a relationship together through all of life's ups and downs. When you're consistently showing these qualities, especially in moments of difficulty or tension, it lays the groundwork for a relationship that can weather any storm. Think about how crucial it is during tough times, when things aren't going smoothly, when disagreements arise, or when external stressors like work, family, or life's uncertainties put pressure on your relationship. It's in those moments that respect and kindness truly shine. Let's break down what this looks like in real life. Picture a situation where there's a disagreement. Maybe it's over something small, like differing opinions on how to handle a situation, or something bigger, like a decision about the future. In these moments, it's easy to get defensive, to dig in your heels, or to let emotions take over. But if you approach the situation with respect, everything changes. Instead of seeing it as a battle where someone has to win, you're treating the other person's viewpoint as valuable, even if you don't agree. You're showing that you respect their thoughts, their feelings, and their right to have a different perspective. Respect doesn't mean you have to agree with everything. It simply means you're acknowledging that the other person's feelings are valid, even if they don't align with your own. This approach diffuses tension because it shifts the focus from proving a point or being right to understanding the other person. Women appreciate this deeply because it creates a sense of partnership rather than opposition. It shows that you're on the same team, working toward a resolution together rather than against each other. In those moments, kindness plays a huge role too. When emotions are running high, it's easy to say something hurtful or dismissive in the heat of the moment. But if you choose kindness, if you make a conscious effort to be gentle, patient, and understanding, things will go much smoother. Kindness helps you avoid escalating the conflict and keeps the conversation grounded in empathy rather than anger. Even in the middle of a disagreement, showing kindness can be as simple as saying, "I hear you," or "I understand where you're coming from." Those small, thoughtful gestures go a long way in maintaining emotional connection, even when you're not seeing eye to eye. Now let's talk about vulnerability. Kindness is crucial when someone, whether it's you or your partner, is feeling vulnerable. Vulnerability is a part of any healthy relationship. It's the willingness to open up, to share fears, insecurities, and hopes without fear of judgment or ridicule. When someone is vulnerable with you, especially a woman who may be sharing something deeply personal, your response matters a lot. If you respond with kindness and support, you're building trust. You're showing her that it's safe to be open with you, that you're someone who will treat her emotions with care. But if you respond with impatience, indifference, or worse, if you belittle her feelings or brush them off, you're breaking that trust. Even if it seems like a small moment, how you handle vulnerability speaks volumes about your character. A kind, compassionate response in those moments shows emotional maturity. It tells her that you're capable of handling the deeper, more complex parts of a relationship, not just the easy or fun aspects. Women notice this, and they value it because it's rare to find someone who is consistently kind, especially when dealing with emotionally charged situations. Respect and kindness also shape how you handle your partner's individuality. Every person comes into a relationship with their own life, their own experiences, their own set of values and goals. Respect means honoring those things, even when they're different from your own. It's about giving space for the other person to be themselves without feeling the need to control or change them. For example, maybe she has passions or hobbies that don't align perfectly with yours. A respectful man doesn't see this as a problem, he sees it as part of what makes her unique. Respect also comes into play when it comes to her independence. A healthy relationship is built on two people who are whole on their own, not people who are codependent or clingy. Respect means allowing your partner the freedom to pursue her own interests, maintain her friendships, and continue growing as an individual outside of the relationship. When you respect her independence, you're showing confidence in yourself and in the relationship. You're not threatened by her doing her own thing because you trust that your connection is strong enough to support two independent people. Women are drawn to this because it shows maturity and security. Let's not overlook the importance of self-respect in all of this. Respect and kindness aren't just about how you treat others. They start with how you treat yourself. A man who respects himself, sets healthy boundaries, takes care of his physical and emotional well-being, and doesn't settle for less than he deserves. Self-respect means that you're not seeking validation from others to feel good about yourself. You know your worth, and you carry yourself with confidence because of it. When you respect yourself, you also treat others with more respect. You're not coming from a place of neediness or insecurity, and that's attractive to women. No one wants to be in a relationship where the other person is constantly seeking approval or validation. Self-respect allows you to stand firm in who you are, which creates a dynamic where both partners feel secure and valued. This ties into kindness toward yourself too. When you're kind to yourself, you're practicing self-compassion. You're not beating yourself up for mistakes or imperfections, and you're giving yourself the grace to grow. This self-kindness reflects in how you treat others. A man who is kind to himself is more likely to be patient, understanding, and forgiving in his relationships because he's already practicing those things internally. Women notice when a man takes care of himself emotionally, and they appreciate it because it creates a foundation for a healthy, balanced relationship. Kindness toward yourself also means recognizing when you need to set boundaries. It's about knowing your limits and not overextending yourself in an effort to please others. Women are drawn to men who have the self-awareness to say no when they need to, who can prioritize their own well-being without feeling guilty about it. This doesn't mean being selfish. It means being emotionally intelligent enough to know that you can't pour from an empty cup. When you take care of yourself, you're in a better position to show up fully in your relationships. It's also important to remember that kindness and respect aren't one-time actions. They're habits, and they require consistency. Anyone can be kind or respectful in the beginning of a relationship or when things are going smoothly, but the true test of character is how you maintain those qualities over time. especially when life throws challenges your way? Are you able to stay kind when you're stressed, tired, or frustrated? Can you continue to show respect even when you don't agree with her or when things aren't going your way? These are the moments that define a relationship. Consistency in respect and kindness builds trust. It shows that you're reliable, that you're someone who can be counted on to treat others well no matter the circumstances. Women notice this, and they value it deeply because it creates a sense of safety and stability in the relationship. When she knows that you'll consistently treat her with respect and kindness, even in tough times, it strengthens the bond between you. Respect and kindness are qualities that never go out of style. They might not be flashy, or the first things people think of when they talk about attraction, but they're the foundation of any meaningful relationship. They create a dynamic where both people feel valued, heard, and cared for. Women are drawn to men who embody these traits because they signal emotional intelligence, maturity, and the ability to build something lasting. In the end, respect and kindness aren't just about making someone feel good in the moment. They're about building a relationship that can stand the test of time, a connection based on mutual appreciation and care. When you consistently show up with respect and kindness, you're not just creating attraction, you're building the kind of connection that goes deeper, that lasts longer, and that truly matters. Attraction isn't about creating obsession. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that making someone obsessed with you is the ultimate goal, but that's a shallow and unsustainable approach. Obsession implies a kind of unhealthy fixation, something that's built on neediness or manipulation rather than a genuine connection. The truth is, real attraction isn't about controlling how someone feels about you, nor is it about making them dependent on your presence. Instead, it's about becoming the best version of yourself and letting the right people naturally gravitate toward you because of who you truly are. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you're shifting the emphasis from external validation to internal growth. You stop trying to manipulate how others perceive you and instead direct your energy toward your own development. This is a transformative mindset because it frees you from the pressure of constantly seeking approval from others. Instead of worrying about whether someone will be impressed by you, you start asking yourself, how can I continue to improve? How can I live a life that's aligned with my values and goals? This internal focus is what makes you truly attractive because it radiates confidence, self-respect, and authenticity. Becoming the best version of yourself doesn't mean you're perfect or that you never make mistakes. It means you're committed to growth, to learning, and to becoming more aware of your strengths and weaknesses. You're actively working on improving yourself, not because you're trying to win someone over, but because you understand that life is about constant evolution. Women, and people in general, are drawn to this because it shows that you're not stagnant. You're someone who's on a journey of self-improvement, and that's a magnetic quality. It shows that you have ambition, not just in your career or hobbies, but in your personal life as well. When you're focused on self-growth, you're not pretending to be something you're not. You're not putting on a mask or trying to fit into someone else's expectations. Instead, you're living authentically, and that authenticity is what makes you attractive. People can sense when you're being real, when you're comfortable in your own skin, and when you're not trying to impress them. This kind of confidence comes from knowing yourself, your strengths, your limitations, and your values, and accepting yourself fully, flaws and all. It's this self-acceptance that allows others to see you for who you truly are, rather than who you're pretending to be. Pretending to be something you're not might work in the short term. You might be able to fool someone into thinking you're more confident, successful, or charming than you actually are, but that act will eventually fall apart. People can only keep up a facade for so long before it starts to crack. And when that happens, the attraction built on that false image quickly fades. That's because it was never based on anything real to begin with. It was based on a persona, not on your true self. And in the end, that leaves both you and the other person feeling empty, On the other hand, when you're genuinely focused on becoming the best version of yourself, you're not trying to pretend or manipulate. You're simply living in a way that aligns with your values, and that's where true attraction lies. The people who are drawn to you in this state are attracted to the real you, not the version you're projecting. They appreciate you for who you truly are, and that creates a much deeper, more meaningful connection than any game or tactic could ever achieve. What's more, when you're focused on your own growth, you're not seeking validation from others. You're not constantly looking for approval or attention to feel good about yourself. Instead, you're grounded in your own sense of worth, which comes from the work you're putting into becoming better every day. This kind of inner confidence is incredibly attractive because it shows that you're secure in who you are. You don't need anyone else's approval to feel complete because you've already built that sense of worth from within. When you're not chasing validation, it also changes the way you interact with others. You're not trying to impress them or win them over. You're simply being yourself, comfortable and relaxed, and this puts others at ease. Women in particular are drawn to this kind of energy because it feels genuine and trustworthy. You're not trying to manipulate their feelings or make them obsessed with you. You're just being present, confident in who you are. And that's much more attractive than any calculated attempt to get someone's attention. Focusing on becoming the best version of yourself also means that you're attracting people who are aligned with your values and your goals. When you're living authentically, you naturally draw people into your life who appreciate and respect you for who you are. They're not interested in some false version of you. They're attracted to the qualities you've cultivated through discipline, character, and self-awareness. This kind of attraction is based on mutual respect and admiration rather than neediness or dependency. It's important to understand that the right people will be drawn to you when you're being your true self. You don't need to play games or try to make someone obsess over you, because real attraction is about compatibility, not control. When you're focused on your own growth and living in alignment with your values, you'll naturally attract people who resonate with that energy. They'll be drawn to your authenticity, your confidence, and your sense of purpose. And because they're attracted to the real you, the connection will be much stronger and more sustainable. This doesn't mean that everyone will be drawn to you, and that's okay. Not everyone is meant to be in your life, and not every connection will lead to a deep relationship. But when you're being true to yourself, the people who are meant to be in your life will find you. They'll appreciate you for who you are, and they'll be attracted to the qualities that you've worked so hard to cultivate. In the end, it's about creating genuine connections, not manipulating people into feeling something for you. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you're inviting the right people into your life. People who appreciate you, respect you, and are genuinely attracted to the person you've become. And that kind of attraction is far more powerful and lasting than any fleeting obsession ever could be. It's based on real qualities, real growth, and real connection, which are the building blocks of a relationship that truly matters. So the next time you think about attraction, remember that it's not about creating obsession. It's about focusing on yourself, on your growth, and on becoming the best version of who you can be. In doing so, you'll naturally draw people into your life who see and appreciate the real you, not some version of yourself that you've created to impress them. And that's where the real magic of attraction lies, in being authentically you, in your highest form. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you're not just attracting others, you're building a life that feels fulfilling from within. The irony is that the more you concentrate on your own growth and purpose, the less you need external validation, and that's exactly what makes you more attractive. You're no longer seeking someone else to fill a void or to complete you. Instead, you're offering something solid, something meaningful, because you've done the inner work to create that foundation. This process of self-improvement is not just about surface-level achievements like getting in shape or advancing in your career, although those things can certainly be a part of it. It's about cultivating a mindset of growth and resilience, of constantly pushing yourself to evolve into a stronger, wiser, and more grounded person. Women, like anyone, are drawn to people who are on a path of growth because it shows that you're dynamic, that you're not stuck in one place or complacent in your life. This growth mindset signals that you're capable of adapting, learning, and evolving, which are essential traits in a partner for a long-lasting relationship. Becoming the best version of yourself means developing emotional intelligence as well. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions while also being aware of the emotions of others. It's about knowing how to handle conflict, how to communicate effectively, and how to build healthy, balanced relationships. When you're emotionally intelligent, you're not reactive or impulsive. You're able to take a step back, assess a situation with clarity, and respond thoughtfully rather than out of emotion or insecurity. This level of emotional maturity is incredibly attractive because it shows that you're not ruled by your feelings, but that you have the awareness and self-control to navigate challenges calmly. Women notice when a man has emotional intelligence because it creates a sense of safety and trust. They know that you're not going to lash out in anger or shut down when things get difficult. Instead, you're someone who can handle emotions with grace and understanding, and that kind of stability is rare and valuable. It's not about being unemotional or detached. It's about being in control of your emotions in a way that allows you to respond with kindness, patience, and respect, even in tough situations. Another key aspect of becoming the best version of yourself is living with purpose. Purpose gives your life direction and meaning, and it's one of the most attractive qualities a person can have. When you're driven by a sense of purpose, whether it's in your work, your passions, or your relationships, you exude a kind of confidence and certainty that naturally draws people to you. Women, like anyone, are attracted to someone who knows what they want out of life and is actively pursuing it. This doesn't mean you have to have everything figured out or be at the pinnacle of success, but it does mean that you're clear on your goals and values, and you're taking steps to live in alignment with them. Living with purpose also means that you're not looking for someone else to give your life meaning. You're not dependent on a relationship to feel fulfilled because you've already found that fulfillment within yourself. This is a powerful mindset shift because it means you're entering relationships from a place of wholeness rather than neediness. You're not looking for someone to complete you because you're already complete. Instead, you're looking for someone to share in the journey with you, to grow alongside you, and to build something meaningful together. This sense of purpose and independence is incredibly attractive because it shows that you're not going to lose yourself in a relationship. Women are drawn to men who have their own lives, their own passions, and their own sense of identity. It creates a dynamic where both partners can support each other's growth and individuality rather than becoming codependent. This kind of balance is crucial for a healthy, lasting relationship because it allows both people to thrive, both as individuals and as a couple. Self-awareness is another essential part of becoming the best version of yourself. When you're self-aware, you understand your strengths and weaknesses, your triggers, and your patterns of behavior. You're able to take responsibility for your actions and make changes where necessary. This kind of introspection is attractive because it shows that you're willing to do the inner work to become a better person, both for yourself and for those around you. Women appreciate men who are self-aware because it means you're not blaming others for your problems or stuck in a victim mentality. Instead, you're taking ownership of your life and making conscious choices to improve. Self-awareness also helps you avoid the trap of pretending to be someone you're not. When you know yourself well, you don't feel the need to put on a facade or conform to what you think others want from you. You're comfortable in your own skin, and that kind of authenticity is incredibly attractive. People are drawn to those who are real, who are unapologetically themselves, because it creates a sense of trust. When you're being true to yourself, you invite others to do the same, and that's where deep, genuine connections are formed. The process of becoming the best version of yourself also involves resilience. Life is full of setbacks, challenges, and disappointments, but the way you handle those moments says a lot about who you are. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to learn from your mistakes, and to keep moving forward even when things get tough. Women are drawn to men who are resilient because it shows that you can handle life's challenges with grace and determination. It shows that you're not going to crumble under pressure or give up when things get hard. Resilience also means that you're not afraid to take risks or step out of your comfort zone. Growth happens in discomfort, and when you're willing to push yourself beyond what's familiar, you're showing that you're committed to becoming better even if it's challenging. This kind of courage is attractive because it signals that you're not complacent or afraid of change. You're constantly evolving, and that creates a dynamic energy that others are naturally drawn to. Ultimately, when you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you're not just attracting attention, you're attracting the right kind of attention. You're drawing in people who appreciate you for your depth, your character, and your authenticity. They're not interested in the image you project or the persona you put on. They're interested in the real you, the person you've worked hard to become. And because the connection is based on something genuine, it's much more likely to last. This approach also means that you're not chasing after fleeting relationships or short-term validation. You're not looking for someone to obsess over you because you don't need that kind of attention to feel good about yourself. Instead, you're focused on building meaningful, lasting connections with people who value you for who you are. You're living with purpose, cultivating self-awareness, and continuously striving to grow, and that's what makes you truly attractive. In the end, real attraction is about more than just chemistry or physical appearance. It's about who you are at your core and how you show up in the world. When you commit to becoming the best version of yourself, you're not only creating a life that feels fulfilling from the inside out, you're also inviting the right people into your life, people who see and appreciate you for your true self. And that's the kind of attraction that goes beyond the surface, creating connections that are deep, meaningful, and built to last. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you're not just making yourself more attractive to others. You're building a foundation for a life that is richer and more meaningful, regardless of who you bring into it. This inner growth and self-improvement isn't a means to an end. It's the path to a fulfilling life. When you shift your focus from trying to make someone obsessed with you to trying to make yourself a better person, the energy you project changes. You no longer seek validation through external means because your confidence and sense of self-worth come from within. Living with this kind of self-assuredness has a profound impact on the way you approach relationships, and it creates an environment where true connection can thrive. Instead of trying to craft the perfect image to impress others, you're simply living in alignment with your values, and that kind of authenticity is magnetic. People are drawn to others who are real, who are living with integrity, and who don't need to play games to earn attention. This shift from seeking external approval to cultivating internal growth is the heart of real attraction, and it's what creates relationships that last. One of the most powerful aspects of becoming the best version of yourself is that it allows you to step into relationships with a sense of wholeness. You're not looking for someone to complete you or fill some emotional void. You've already done the work to become complete on your own, and this changes the dynamic of your relationships entirely. Instead of entering a relationship from a place of neediness or insecurity, you're approaching it from a place of abundance. You're not asking, what can this person give me to make me feel good about myself? Instead, you're asking, how can we both grow and enrich each other's lives? This mindset of abundance is incredibly attractive because it shows that you're not dependent on the relationship to feel happy or fulfilled. You've already built a life that feels good to you, and now you're simply inviting someone to join you on that journey. This changes the entire dynamic of the relationship because there's no pressure to perform or impress. Instead, you're simply offering your authentic self and allowing the other person to do the same. This creates a space for mutual growth where both partners can thrive as individuals and as a couple. When you're focused on becoming the best version of yourself, you also become more selective about who you allow into your life. You're not interested in just anyone's attention or approval. Instead, you're looking for people who align with your values and who support your growth. This doesn't mean you're being judgmental or closed off, but it does mean that you're not settling for superficial connections. You're looking for depth, for people who appreciate the person you've worked hard to become. And when you're living with this kind of clarity and purpose, the right people will naturally be drawn to you. This selectivity also means that you're less likely to fall into unhealthy relationship patterns. When you're clear on who you are and what you want, you're able to set boundaries and walk away from situations that don't serve you. You're not chasing after someone who doesn't respect you, nor are you clinging to relationships out of fear of being alone. You know that your worth isn't tied to whether someone chooses you or not, and this self-respect allows you to engage in relationships from a place of strength rather than desperation. Furthermore, by focusing on self-improvement, you're creating a mindset that embraces growth not just in yourself, but in your relationships as well. You understand that relationships, like individuals, are not static. They require effort, reflection, and a willingness to evolve. When both partners are committed to growth, individually and together, the relationship becomes a source of mutual empowerment. You're not afraid of challenges or difficult conversations because you see them as opportunities for deeper connection and understanding. Women are drawn to men who have this mindset because it shows that you're willing to put in the work to make a relationship thrive, not just coast along on autopilot. In becoming the best version of yourself, you also cultivate qualities like patience, empathy, and resilience. These traits are crucial in any relationship, and they allow you to approach challenges with a calm, thoughtful attitude. Patience means you're not rushing things or expecting instant gratification, whether it's in your personal growth or in the relationship itself. You understand that real change, real connection, and real attraction take time to develop. Women notice this kind of emotional maturity, and it creates a sense of trust and security. It shows that you're in it for the long haul, not just looking for quick thrills or temporary attention. Empathy is another critical quality that emerges when you focus on becoming the best version of yourself. When you're truly invested in your own growth, you naturally become more attuned to the experiences and emotions of others. You're able to step outside of your own perspective and see things from someone else's point of view. This kind of emotional intelligence is rare, and it's incredibly attractive because it fosters deeper, more meaningful connections. Women appreciate a man who can listen, who can understand their feelings, without immediately trying to fix or control the situation. Empathy creates emotional intimacy, which is the foundation of any strong relationship. Resilience, too, is a quality that becomes more pronounced when you're focused on personal growth. Life is unpredictable, and relationships come with their own set of challenges, but resilience allows you to weather those storms without falling apart. When you've built resilience in yourself, you're better equipped to handle setbacks, disappointments, and conflicts with grace. You're not easily shaken by external circumstances because you've developed the internal strength to persevere. Women are drawn to this kind of resilience because it signals that you're capable of handling life's ups and downs without losing your composure or abandoning your values. As you continue to grow and evolve, you'll find that the people who are drawn to you are those who appreciate you for your true self. They're not interested in the version of you that's trying to impress or manipulate. They're drawn to the real you, the person who's committed to growth, integrity, and living with purpose. And because these connections are based on authenticity and mutual respect, they're much more likely to be meaningful and lasting. In the end, becoming the best version of yourself isn't about creating an image or winning someone's attention. It's about living a life that feels fulfilling and purposeful, regardless of external validation. It's about cultivating qualities like discipline, resilience, empathy, and emotional intelligence, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because these are the traits that lead to a richer, more meaningful life. When you focus on this inner growth, you'll naturally attract people who appreciate you for who you truly are, and you'll build relationships that are grounded in genuine connection rather than fleeting attraction. So, rather than worrying about how to make someone obsessed with you, focus on how to become the best version of yourself. The right people will be drawn to that energy because it's authentic, confident, and rooted in something real. And that's where true attraction begins, with you living your life in alignment with your values, growing into the person you were always meant to be. The rest will follow naturally. When you continue to focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you unlock a deeper understanding of attraction that goes beyond appearances and surface-level connections. You begin to realize that true attraction is more about energy than effort. It's the energy you carry with you, the confidence that comes from self-assuredness, and the sense of purpose that emanates from living with integrity. This energy can't be faked or forced. It's cultivated from within, and as it grows, it becomes magnetic to the right kind of people, the ones who resonate with your authentic self. One of the most profound shifts that happens when you focus on self-improvement is that you stop needing to chase. You're no longer in pursuit of approval, attention, or affection because you understand that what's meant for you will come to you naturally when you're living in alignment with your values and purpose. This doesn't mean you stop making an effort or engaging with people. It simply means that you're no longer acting out of desperation or insecurity. You're no longer trying to control outcomes because you've learned to trust the process. When you trust yourself and your path, you attract people who align with that same energy. This shift is powerful because it frees you from the exhausting cycle of trying to manipulate or control how others perceive you. You realize that the right people will appreciate you for who you are, and you don't need to put on a show or play games to win their affection. Instead, you can focus your energy on becoming better, on evolving, and on living a life that's meaningful to you. This approach is not only healthier for you, but it also creates the space for deeper, more genuine connections to form. When you're not trying to be something you're not, you allow others to see you clearly, and the people who are truly compatible with you will be drawn to that clarity. Another important aspect of focusing on becoming the best version of yourself is that it teaches you to let go of attachment to specific outcomes. Often, we get caught up in wanting things to turn out a certain way, whether it's in relationships, work, or life in general. We want things to go according to our plans, and when they don't, it can feel like a failure. But when you focus on your growth and on living in alignment with your values, you begin to understand that outcomes aren't the ultimate goal, your growth is. The process of becoming a better person, of refining your character and your abilities, is what matters most. When you let go of attachment to specific outcomes, you become more flexible, adaptable, and resilient. You're no longer rigidly holding on to how things should be, and instead, you're open to how things could be. This mindset shift allows you to handle rejection, disappointment, and setbacks with grace because you understand that these experiences are part of your journey. They don't define you or diminish your worth. In fact, they help you grow even further. Women and people in general are deeply attracted to this kind of resilience because it shows emotional strength and maturity. You're not derailed by every bump in the road. You take it in stride and keep moving forward. Letting go of attachment also means that you're not trying to force relationships or connections. You're not trying to mold someone into your ideal partner or manipulate a situation to fit your desires. Instead, you're open to seeing how things naturally unfold. This creates a sense of ease and freedom in your relationships because there's no pressure or expectation. You're not trying to control how someone feels about you or how fast things progress. You're simply present in the moment, allowing the connection to develop organically. This kind of openness is attractive because it shows that you're secure in yourself and that you trust the flow of life. It shows that you're not trying to grasp onto something or someone out of fear, but rather, you're allowing things to unfold as they're meant to. As you continue on this path of becoming the best version of yourself, you also develop a deeper sense of purpose. Purpose isn't just about having a specific career or achieving certain goals. It's about living in alignment with your values and passions. It's about knowing what drives you, what gives your life meaning, and pursuing that with determination and focus. When you have a sense of purpose, you bring a different kind of energy into your interactions with others. You're not aimless or lost, you have direction, and that direction is inspiring. Women, and people in general, are naturally drawn to those who are living with purpose because it shows that you're not drifting through life, but actively creating a meaningful existence. Living with purpose also gives you a sense of fulfillment that isn't dependent on external factors. You're not waiting for a relationship, a job, or a specific achievement to make you feel whole. You've already cultivated that sense of fulfillment from within because you're living in alignment with what matters to you. This inner fulfillment is incredibly attractive because it radiates outward, showing that you're content with yourself and your life. When you're fulfilled from within, you don't need anyone else to complete you, and that independence is deeply appealing. It shows that you're not entering a relationship out of need or lack, but out of a desire to share your life with someone who complements and enhances it. Another powerful outcome of focusing on self-growth is the development of self-respect. As you work on becoming the best version of yourself, you naturally start to respect your own boundaries, time, and energy more. You're no longer willing to compromise your values or settle for less than you deserve because you understand your worth. This self-respect not only affects how you view yourself, but it also influences the way others perceive and treat you. When you respect yourself, you set the tone for how others will treat you. Women notice this, and it creates a dynamic where they know they can't take advantage of you or push your boundaries because you've already established that you won't tolerate that behavior. Self-respect also means you're willing to walk away from situations or people that aren't aligned with your values or goals. You're not afraid of being alone because you know that your worth isn't determined by someone else's presence in your life. This kind of confidence and self-assurance is incredibly attractive because it shows that you're strong enough to stand on your own. You're not looking for someone to validate you. You've already validated yourself. Women and people in general are drawn to this because it shows that you're emotionally mature and independent, qualities that are essential for a healthy and lasting relationship. At the same time, becoming the best version of yourself doesn't mean you stop caring about others or become selfish. On the contrary, when you're focused on your growth, you also become more attuned to the needs and feelings of those around you. Self-improvement often includes developing empathy, emotional intelligence, and the ability to build deeper, more meaningful connections. When you're growing, you're not just focused on your own journey, you're also open to supporting others in theirs. Women notice this kind of emotional intelligence, and it creates an environment where trust, understanding, and genuine connection can flourish. In this way, becoming the best version of yourself is about balance. It's about balancing your own needs and goals with the ability to be present and supportive in your relationships. It's about knowing when to focus on your personal growth and when to invest in the people around you. This balance is key to creating lasting attraction because it shows that you're not only self-sufficient, but also capable of building strong, healthy connections with others. As you continue on this journey of self-growth, you'll find that the people who come into your life are those who truly appreciate and respect you for who you are. They're not drawn to a false version of yourself or to the external trappings of success. They're drawn to your authenticity, your strength, and the depth of character that you've cultivated. And that's the foundation of real attraction, an attraction based on mutual respect, shared values, and a genuine connection that goes far beyond the surface. Ultimately, becoming the best version of yourself is about living in alignment with who you truly are and allowing that authenticity to shine through in everything you do. It's about focusing on your growth, your purpose, and your values. Not because you're trying to impress or control others, but because you're committed to living a life that feels fulfilling and meaningful. When you live this way, the right people will naturally be drawn to you, and the connections you build will be based on something real, something lasting. And that's where true attraction lies, not in obsession or manipulation, but in the deep, authentic connections that come from being your best self. As you continue on your journey of self-improvement, focusing on becoming the best version of yourself, the way you approach relationships, attraction, and life itself will shift dramatically. You'll realize that the pursuit of external validation, attention, or obsession is fleeting and ultimately unfulfilling. The real, lasting value comes from the inside, from the depth of your character, your purpose, and your authenticity. When you cultivate these qualities, discipline, self-respect, emotional intelligence, resilience, you're not just becoming more attractive to others, you're also creating a life that is richer and more meaningful. You stop chasing approval or manipulating situations to get someone's attention, and instead, you invite people into your life who are aligned with who you truly are. And that's the key. The right kind of people will gravitate toward you when you live authentically and in alignment with your values. You'll find that the relationships and connections you form are deeper, more genuine, and more fulfilling because they're based on something real. It's important to remember that the process of becoming the best version of yourself is ongoing. It's not about reaching a final destination where you're suddenly complete or perfect. Personal growth is a lifelong journey, one that constantly evolves as you face new challenges and opportunities. What matters most is your commitment to this journey, your willingness to continue improving and learning. As long as you remain focused on growth, both for yourself and in your relationships, you'll find that your life becomes richer, your connections become deeper, and the sense of fulfillment you feel grows stronger with time. And as you grow, you'll naturally start to attract the people who resonate with this energy. You'll draw in those who appreciate your authenticity, who respect your values, and who want to grow alongside you. These are the relationships that matter, the ones that go beyond superficial attraction or fleeting obsession. They're based on mutual respect, shared growth, and genuine connection, qualities that last long after the initial spark of attraction has faded. In a world that often places emphasis on surface-level traits, quick results, and fleeting desires, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that attracting someone's attention means playing a game or following a set of tactics. But true attraction, the kind that creates meaningful, lasting relationships, is much deeper than that. It's not about trying to make someone obsessed with you, it's about becoming a person who is worth being drawn to for the right reasons. Becoming the best version of yourself is a path that requires patience, dedication, and self-reflection. It's about cultivating qualities like discipline, empathy, resilience, and emotional intelligence. These aren't just traits that make you more attractive to others. They're traits that will make your life more fulfilling, more purposeful, and more rewarding, regardless of who you attract along the way. When you focus on this inner growth, something profound happens. You stop needing the approval of others to feel complete. You're no longer chasing validation or attention because you've already found it within yourself. And that's where the real magic of attraction lies. It's not in playing games or following rules. It's in living authentically, in alignment with your values, and inviting the right people into your life who appreciate and respect you for who you truly are. In the end, the greatest relationships are built not on obsession or control, but on mutual respect, shared values, and a genuine desire to support each other's growth. So instead of focusing on how to make someone obsessed with you, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Trust that in doing so, you will naturally attract the right people, the ones who see you, value you, and want to share in the journey of growth and life with you. And that's the kind of connection that goes beyond attraction. It's the foundation for something real, something lasting, and something truly fulfilling. When you focus on cultivating your inner self, your discipline, your integrity, your emotional stability, you become someone who commands respect and admiration without even trying. It's not about chasing validation or approval from others. It's about aligning your actions with your values, developing the qualities that define you as a person, and becoming comfortable in your own skin. This internal work radiates outward, creating a sense of quiet confidence that naturally attracts people. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't need to shout or seek attention because it speaks for itself. Women, and people in general, are drawn to this energy because it signals that you're secure in who you are, that you're in control of your life, and that you're not swayed by the need to impress others. This sense of security is something that people notice right away. When you're comfortable with yourself, you're not constantly trying to prove your worth to others. You're not using superficial tactics to get attention, nor are you playing games to manipulate how others feel about you. Instead, you're focused on being true to who you are, staying grounded in your values, and letting the rest unfold naturally. There's something incredibly attractive about a man who knows who he is and doesn't feel the need to change that for anyone. Women especially appreciate this quality because it's rare to find someone who is authentically themselves, who isn't trying to mold themselves into an idealized version of what they think others want. When you stop chasing attention and start cultivating inner strength, the dynamic changes. You're no longer operating from a place of neediness or insecurity. You're not constantly seeking validation or approval because you've already built that sense of self-worth from within. This shift creates a completely different energy in your interactions with others. You're not trying to manipulate the situation or win someone over. You're simply being yourself, comfortable and confident in who you are. This kind of presence is magnetic because it's genuine. People are naturally drawn to authenticity, and when you're living in alignment with your values, you don't need to seek attention, it comes to you. This quiet confidence also allows you to approach relationships in a healthier way. You're not entering a relationship because you need someone to validate you or to fill an emotional void. You're not looking for someone to complete you because you've already done the work to complete yourself. Instead, you're looking for someone who adds to your life, someone who complements the person you've become. This approach creates a much more balanced dynamic in relationships because you're not relying on the other person to meet all of your emotional needs. You're already secure in yourself, and that security allows you to be a better partner. When you're not dependent on external validation, you can also be more selective about who you let into your life. You're not trying to impress just anyone. You're looking for people who align with your values and who appreciate you for who you truly are. This selectiveness isn't about being judgmental or arrogant. It's about recognizing your own worth and knowing that you deserve to be with someone who respects and values you. Women notice this, and they're attracted to men who have standards for themselves, who don't settle for less than they deserve. This kind of confidence and self-respect is a rare and powerful quality that naturally draws people toward you. Cultivating inner strength also means developing emotional resilience. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and disappointments, but how you handle those moments says a lot about your character. When you're emotionally resilient, you don't let every little thing throw you off balance. You're able to stay calm and composed even in difficult situations because you've built the emotional strength to weather life's storms. This kind of resilience is incredibly attractive because it shows that you're not easily rattled by external circumstances. Women, and people in general, are drawn to men who can remain steady and composed, even when things aren't going perfectly. It creates a sense of stability and trust, which is essential for building strong, lasting relationships. Emotional resilience also allows you to approach challenges in relationships with a level head. When disagreements arise, as they inevitably do, you're able to navigate them with patience and understanding, rather than reacting impulsively or out of anger. You're not trying to win the argument or prove that you're right. You're focused on finding a resolution that respects both parties. This kind of emotional intelligence is key to maintaining healthy relationships because it fosters open communication and mutual respect. Women notice when a man can handle conflict maturely without resorting to pettiness or defensiveness. It shows that you're emotionally strong and capable of navigating the complexities of a relationship. Part of developing this emotional resilience comes from the discipline you cultivate in your daily life. Discipline is more than just sticking to a routine or achieving your goals. It's about staying committed to your values and principles, even when it's difficult. It's about making choices that are aligned with who you want to be, not just in the short term, but in the long run. Discipline requires you to push through discomfort, to stay focused on what really matters, and to resist the temptation to take the easy way out. This kind of commitment to growth is not only attractive, but also deeply inspiring to others. When you're disciplined in your personal growth, it shows that you're someone who is constantly evolving. You're not stagnant or complacent. You're always striving to be better, to learn more, and to improve yourself. This mindset of continuous growth is incredibly appealing because it signals that you're not afraid of challenges or change. Women are drawn to men who are on a path of self-improvement, not because they expect perfection, but because it shows that you're someone who is always looking for ways to grow and evolve. It creates a sense of dynamism and excitement because you're constantly working toward becoming a better version of yourself. The discipline you develop in your personal growth also carries over into how you approach your relationships. You're not just going through the motions or settling for mediocrity. You're actively investing in the relationship and looking for ways to strengthen the connection. This kind of commitment to growth, both personally and within the relationship, creates a sense of security and trust. Women appreciate when a man is disciplined enough to put in the effort to make a relationship work, especially when things get tough. It shows that you're not afraid of challenges and that you're willing to do the work to maintain a healthy, lasting connection. All of this, the discipline, the emotional resilience, the quiet confidence, stems from cultivating your inner self. It's not about impressing others or following external rules to get attention. It's about living in alignment with your values, staying true to who you are, and focusing on your own growth. When you do this, attraction happens naturally. You don't need to chase it or force it because people will be drawn to you for the right reasons. They'll see the qualities you've developed, the strength of your character, and the authenticity you bring to the table, and they'll be naturally drawn to that. This approach to attraction is sustainable because it's built on something real. It's not based on superficial tactics or temporary strategies. It's based on who you are at your core. And because it's authentic, the connections you form are deeper and more meaningful. People are drawn to you because of your inner qualities, not because of some persona you've created to impress them. This creates relationships that are grounded in mutual respect and admiration, rather than manipulation or games. When you cultivate your inner self, you also become more aware of the kind of people you want to attract into your life. You're not looking for someone who is impressed by surface-level things. You're looking for someone who values the same qualities that you do: discipline, integrity, emotional intelligence, and authenticity. This awareness allows you to build relationships that are truly fulfilling because they're based on shared values and mutual respect. You're no longer seeking validation from just anyone. You're focused on building connections with people who align with your growth and your purpose. Ultimately, when you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you're not just becoming more attractive to others, you're building a life that feels authentic and fulfilling from the inside out. You're cultivating qualities that will serve you not only in your relationships, but in every aspect of your life. And as you continue to grow, the right people will naturally be drawn to you, not because of anything you've done to impress them, but because of who you are and the energy you bring to the world. As you continue to cultivate your inner self, your discipline, integrity, and emotional resilience, you begin to realize that the process of becoming the best version of yourself isn't just about attracting others or earning their admiration. It's about creating a life that is aligned with your highest values, a life that brings you fulfillment and purpose in every moment. When you focus on developing these internal qualities, You build a foundation that not only enhances your relationships, but also improves your overall well-being, happiness, and sense of direction. The external world, including the people you attract, naturally becomes a reflection of the work you've done on the inside. This journey towards self-improvement is ongoing. It's not something you can check off a list or achieve in a set period of time. Every day brings new opportunities to grow, new challenges to face, and new lessons to learn. And that's the beauty of it. There's always room to evolve, always space to become a better version of yourself. The key is to remain committed to this growth, even when it's difficult, even when the results aren't immediate. Patience is a crucial part of this process, and it's something that people are drawn to when they see it in you. Women, in particular, appreciate men who are committed to their growth over the long haul, not just in spurts of motivation or when things are easy. As you cultivate patience, you become more centered. You're not rushing through life, looking for quick wins or instant gratification. Instead, you're focused on the long game, on building something lasting, whether that's in your career, your personal life, or your relationships. This calm, steady approach creates a sense of stability that others find deeply attractive. It shows that you're not swayed by fleeting emotions or distractions, that you're capable of staying the course even when things get tough. In relationships, this patience and steadiness are invaluable. Women notice when a man is able to remain composed, thoughtful and focused, even in challenging situations. It signals emotional strength and maturity, qualities that are foundational to building lasting connections. The discipline you develop in your personal growth journey also helps you stay aligned with your purpose. Whether it's pursuing a passion, developing a career, or working on personal goals, staying disciplined ensures that you're always moving forward, even if the progress is slow. When you have a sense of purpose, it radiates through everything you do. It gives your life direction and meaning, and that kind of focused energy is incredibly attractive. Women, like everyone else, are drawn to people who know what they want and are actively working toward it. It's not about being perfect or having everything figured out. It's about being on a path and having the courage to walk that path with conviction and persistence. Living with purpose also gives you a kind of inner fulfillment that's not dependent on anyone else. You're not waiting for a relationship, a promotion, or external validation to feel satisfied with your life. You've already built a life that feels meaningful to you, and this fulfillment shines through in your interactions with others. People are drawn to those who are genuinely happy with themselves and their lives because it creates a sense of ease and security. When you're fulfilled from within, you're not entering relationships out of neediness or lack. You're entering them because you genuinely want to share your life with someone, not because you need them to fill a void. This sense of inner fulfillment also allows you to be more present in your relationships. You're not constantly worried about how others perceive you or whether they'll validate your worth. Instead, you're fully engaged in the moment, listening, caring, and connecting on a deeper level. Women notice when a man is truly present, when he's not distracted by his insecurities or trying to project an image. This kind of presence creates a strong emotional connection because it shows that you're genuinely interested in the other person, that you're there to listen and understand, not just to impress or get something in return. As you continue to develop emotional intelligence, you become better at navigating the complexities of relationships. You learn how to communicate more effectively, how to resolve conflicts in a healthy way, and how to build emotional intimacy through trust and openness. Emotional intelligence is one of the most attractive qualities you can cultivate because it shows that you're capable of understanding both your own emotions and those of others. You're not just reacting impulsively or shutting down when things get tough. You're able to process your feelings, communicate them clearly, and handle challenging situations with maturity and grace. Women are deeply attracted to men who have this kind of emotional intelligence because it creates a sense of safety and security in the relationship. They know they can trust you to handle emotions with care, that you won't lash out or withdraw when things get difficult. This emotional stability is essential for building lasting, healthy relationships because it creates an environment where both partners feel heard, understood, and supported. It's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending you don't have them. It's about managing them in a way that fosters deeper connection and mutual respect. In addition to emotional intelligence, empathy plays a significant role in how you connect with others. When you develop empathy, you're able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to understand their perspective and their feelings. This ability to connect on an emotional level is incredibly attractive because it shows that you care about more than just yourself. Women notice when a man is empathetic because it creates a sense of emotional intimacy and trust. It shows that you're capable of understanding her experiences, her struggles, and her emotions, and that you're willing to support her through them. Empathy also allows you to be a better listener, which is one of the most underrated qualities in relationships. When you're truly listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak, it shows that you value the other person's thoughts and feelings. It creates a space for open, honest communication, which is the foundation of any strong relationship. Women appreciate men who can listen without judgment, without trying to fix everything, and without making the conversation about themselves. This kind of deep listening fosters emotional intimacy and builds trust over time. As you cultivate these qualities, empathy, emotional intelligence, patience, and resilience, you'll find that your relationships become richer and more fulfilling. You're no longer engaging in superficial interactions or fleeting connections. Instead, you're building deep, meaningful relationships based on mutual respect, trust, and shared growth. These are the kinds of relationships that last because they're not built on manipulation, games, or temporary attraction. They're built on a foundation of authenticity, emotional connection, and shared values. The beauty of focusing on becoming the best version of yourself is that it transforms not only your relationships, but also your entire life. You become more grounded, more confident, and more fulfilled from within. You stop seeking external validation because you've already cultivated a sense of worth and purpose from the inside. This inner transformation radiates outward, naturally attracting the right people into your life. People who appreciate you for who you are, not for who you're trying to be. As you continue on this journey, you'll find that the quality of your connections improves. You'll attract people who are aligned with your values, who support your growth, and who share your vision for a meaningful life. These are the relationships that truly matter, the ones that enrich your life and help you grow even further. And the best part is, you're not forcing or chasing these connections. They come naturally as a result of the inner work you've done. In the end, the process of becoming the best version of yourself is about much more than attraction or relationships. It's about living a life that feels authentic, purposeful, and fulfilling. It's about developing the qualities that make you a better person, not just for others, but for yourself. When you focus on this inner growth, everything else, relationships, success, happiness, falls into place naturally. You're no longer seeking or striving. You're simply living in alignment with who you are, and that's where true attraction and fulfillment are found. As you continue to evolve and grow into the best version of yourself, you'll start to notice how much more balanced and fulfilling life becomes. This journey isn't about perfection, but about progress, about constantly working on yourself, learning from experiences, and developing a mindset that thrives on growth. You stop comparing yourself to others, and you stop measuring your worth by external standards. Instead, you gauge your success by the internal benchmarks you set for yourself, by how aligned you are with your values, how consistently you're pursuing your purpose, and how you're showing up in the world with integrity. This inner transformation shifts not just your relationships, but also the way you handle all aspects of life. When you stop focusing on external validation and instead concentrate on your own personal development, you find that you're more resilient to setbacks. Failures and challenges no longer feel like personal defeats, but rather opportunities for growth. You're able to take them in stride because you understand that they're part of the process, part of becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable. This mindset doesn't just make you more attractive to others, it makes you more at peace with yourself. You're no longer driven by fear of failure or rejection because you see the bigger picture. Each setback is a step toward growth, not a final judgment on your worth. This kind of emotional resilience also manifests in your relationships. When things don't go exactly as planned, whether it's a disagreement with someone or a romantic connection that doesn't work out, you're able to maintain your composure and your sense of self. You don't crumble when faced with rejection or challenges because you've developed an inner strength that allows you to remain grounded. Women notice this kind of stability because it shows that you're not dependent on external circumstances to feel secure. You're not seeking constant reassurance or validation from them because you've already built that foundation within yourself. And that's where true attraction lies, not in the fleeting, obsessive desire to impress someone, but in the lasting confidence that comes from knowing you're solid in who you are. You don't need to chase after attention because you know that the right people will naturally be drawn to you. You're not playing games to manipulate how someone feels about you because you're too focused on living your truth and becoming the best version of yourself. This authenticity creates an undeniable magnetism because people, particularly women, are drawn to those who are real, who aren't hiding behind a facade or trying to project an image of perfection. Being the best version of yourself also means embracing vulnerability. There's a misconception that strength means never showing weakness or never allowing yourself to be vulnerable. But in reality, vulnerability is one of the most powerful aspects of emotional strength. When you allow yourself to be open and honest about your feelings, your fears, and your struggles, you invite others to connect with you on a deeper level. It's through vulnerability that true intimacy is built, whether in romantic relationships or friendships. Women are drawn to men who are secure enough to be vulnerable because it shows emotional maturity. It shows that you're not hiding behind a wall or trying to protect yourself from getting hurt at all costs. Instead, you're willing to take emotional risks because you understand that real connection requires it. Vulnerability is what turns surface-level interactions into deep, meaningful relationships. It's what allows trust to flourish, because when someone sees that you're willing to be open with them, they're more likely to open up in return. This mutual vulnerability creates a strong bond that can't be built through manipulation or control. As you develop emotional intelligence and a deeper sense of self-awareness, you'll find that your ability to communicate improves as well. You're able to articulate your thoughts and feelings more clearly, and you're able to listen to others with empathy and understanding. This kind of communication is rare and valuable because it shows that you're truly invested in understanding the other person. You're not just waiting for your turn to speak or trying to steer the conversation in a way that benefits you. You're fully present, engaged, and interested in what the other person has to say. Women notice and appreciate this level of communication because it creates a safe space for emotional connection. When you're able to communicate openly and honestly without judgment or defensiveness, it fosters trust. It shows that you're someone who can handle tough conversations, who's not afraid to dive into deeper issues, and who values the emotional well-being of the person you're with. This kind of emotional openness is incredibly attractive because it signals that you're capable of building a relationship based on mutual respect and understanding, rather than shallow attraction or fleeting chemistry. Another powerful result of focusing on becoming the best version of yourself is that you naturally cultivate a mindset of abundance. You stop thinking in terms of scarcity, whether it's about relationships, opportunities, or personal success. You realize that there's enough in the world for you, that you don't need to compete or cling to every opportunity as if it's the last one you'll ever get. This mindset shift is liberating because it frees you from the constant pressure of needing to win or succeed in every situation. Instead, you focus on what's right for you, knowing that the right opportunities, people, and experiences will come into your life when you're living in alignment with your values. This sense of abundance creates a kind of calm confidence that people find incredibly attractive. You're not desperately trying to hold on to things or people out of fear of losing them, because you trust that what's meant for you will stay and what's not will leave, making space for something better. Women notice this energy, and it creates a dynamic where they feel relaxed around you because you're not coming from a place of neediness or insecurity. You're content with who you are and where you're going, and that kind of self-assurance is magnetic. In relationships, this abundance mindset also means that you're willing to give without expecting something in return. You're not calculating your actions or measuring your kindness based on what you'll get out of it. You're simply giving because it feels right, because it aligns with who you are, and because you genuinely care. This generosity of spirit is attractive because it shows that you're not playing games or keeping score. You're present, engaged, and fully invested in the moment, which creates a sense of trust and emotional safety. Becoming the best version of yourself also requires letting go of control. So often, we want to control every aspect of our lives, from how people see us to how situations unfold. But the reality is, much of life is out of our control. What we can control is how we respond to the circumstances we face, how we show up each day, and how we choose to grow through the challenges we encounter. When you let go of the need to control everything, you open yourself up to new possibilities and experiences that you might have missed if you were too focused on a specific outcome. This openness to life's unpredictability is attractive because it shows that you're adaptable, flexible, and willing to go with the flow. You're not rigidly trying to force things to fit into a predefined mold. Instead, you're embracing the journey, trusting that things will work out as they're meant to, and that you'll grow and learn along the way. This kind of attitude creates a sense of freedom in relationships, where both partners feel like they have room to grow individually and together. Women appreciate this because it shows that you're not trying to control them or the relationship. You're simply enjoying the connection for what it is, allowing it to evolve naturally. In the end, the process of becoming the best version of yourself is about much more than attraction or relationships. It's about living a life that feels true to you, a life that reflects your values, passions, and purpose. When you focus on this inner growth, everything else, your relationships, your success, your happiness, will naturally follow. You won't need to chase or force anything because you'll be living in alignment with who you truly are, and that's where real attraction, fulfillment, and connection are found. The more you invest in yourself, the more you create a life that draws in the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences, allowing you to build lasting, meaningful connections that are rooted in authenticity and mutual respect. As you continue focusing on your inner growth and becoming the best version of yourself, you'll find that everything in your life starts to align in ways you might not have anticipated. This alignment comes from the work you're putting into your own personal development, which isn't just a temporary effort or a checklist of accomplishments. It's an ongoing commitment to live with integrity, pursue your purpose, and maintain emotional and mental balance, even as life throws its inevitable challenges your way. One of the most significant shifts that occurs when you prioritize self-growth is how you handle adversity. Life will always have its ups and downs, but when you've built a strong foundation through discipline, emotional resilience, and self-awareness, you're better equipped to handle these moments with grace and confidence. You're no longer easily shaken by setbacks, rejection, or the unpredictable nature of life. Instead, you approach each challenge as an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become even stronger. Women and people in general are drawn to this kind of inner strength because it signals that you're capable of handling life's complexities without falling apart. It shows that you're not dependent on others to regulate your emotions or to keep you grounded. You've already cultivated that stability within yourself. And that makes you someone who can be trusted to stay steady when things get difficult. It's not that you're emotionally distant or stoic to the point of being unfeeling. Rather, you have the emotional maturity to process your feelings, stay present in the moment, and maintain your sense of self, regardless of external circumstances. This emotional maturity also makes you more adaptable. When things don't go according to plan, whether it's in your personal life, career, or relationships, you're able to pivot and adjust without losing sight of your bigger goals. You've developed the patience to understand that growth takes time, and not everything will happen on your preferred timeline. This adaptability is attractive because it shows that you're flexible and resilient, that you're not rigidly attached to a specific outcome. You're open to life's possibilities, and that openness creates space for unexpected opportunities and connections to flourish. Another aspect of becoming the best version of yourself is cultivating a deep sense of self-awareness. This isn't just about recognizing your strengths and weaknesses. It's about understanding how your actions, words, and decisions affect the people around you. When you're self-aware, you're able to reflect on your behavior and make adjustments when necessary. This kind of introspection is invaluable in relationships because it shows that you're not just focused on yourself. You're also attuned to the needs, feelings, and experiences of others. Women notice when a man has this level of self-awareness because it creates a sense of trust and emotional intimacy. They can see that you're willing to take responsibility for your actions, that you're not blaming others for your mistakes or shortcomings. This accountability is rare and deeply attractive because it signals emotional intelligence. You're not looking to shift blame or avoid difficult conversations. You're willing to face them head-on and work through them in a thoughtful, respectful way. Self-awareness also allows you to be more present in your relationships. You're not distracted by insecurities or trying to play a role to win someone's approval. Instead, you're fully engaged, open, and authentic in your interactions. When you're truly present, the other person feels it. They know they have your full attention, that you're not preoccupied with trying to impress them or worrying about what they think of you. This presence fosters deeper connections because it shows that you value the relationship, that you're not just going through the motions or treating the other person as an afterthought. As you grow in self-awareness, you also develop a stronger sense of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, and it's one of the most powerful qualities you can cultivate in yourself. When you're empathetic, you're able to connect with people on a deeper level because you're genuinely interested in understanding their experiences, emotions, and perspectives. This creates a sense of emotional intimacy that can't be built through surface-level interactions. Women, in particular, are drawn to men who show empathy because it creates a sense of emotional safety. It shows that you're capable of caring for their feelings, that you're not just focused on your own needs or desires. Empathy is what allows relationships to thrive because it fosters mutual understanding and support. It's the foundation for trust, communication, and emotional connection, all of which are essential for a relationship to grow and evolve. One of the most liberating aspects of focusing on becoming the best version of yourself is that you stop feeling the need to control everything. So often, we try to control outcomes, people, and situations in an effort to protect ourselves from disappointment or failure. But when you focus on your inner growth, you realize that much of life is beyond your control. What you can control is how you show up each day, how you respond to challenges, and how you treat others. This shift in focus allows you to let go of the need to micromanage your life, and it opens you up to new experiences and opportunities. When you stop trying to control everything, you also stop trying to control how others feel about you. You're no longer worried about making someone obsessed with you or trying to manipulate their emotions to get what you want. Instead, you're focused on being authentic, on living in alignment with your values, and on building connections based on mutual respect and understanding. This kind of detachment from control is incredibly attractive because it shows that you're confident in yourself and your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Women, and people in general, are drawn to this sense of freedom because it creates a dynamic where they feel comfortable being themselves around you. There's no pressure, no games, just genuine connection. As you cultivate this mindset of openness and authenticity, you also begin to trust in the natural flow of life. You stop forcing things and start allowing things to unfold as they're meant to. This doesn't mean you're passive or indifferent. It means you're actively engaged in your life, but you're not clinging to a specific outcome. You understand that what's meant for you will come, and what's not meant for you will fall away. This kind of trust in the process creates a sense of peace and ease in your relationships. You're not trying to control or predict every step of the journey. You're simply present, enjoying the connection and allowing it to evolve naturally. In relationships, this trust is crucial because it allows both people to grow individually and together. You're not trying to mold someone into your ideal partner or forcing the relationship to fit into a specific timeline. Instead, you're allowing space for the relationship to develop at its own pace, respecting each other's individuality and supporting each other's growth. Women appreciate this kind of approach because it shows that you're not looking for instant gratification or a quick fix. You're willing to invest in the relationship, to give it time, and to let it unfold in a way that feels organic and authentic. Ultimately, the process of becoming the best version of yourself is about creating a life that feels deeply fulfilling from within. It's about living with integrity, pursuing your passions, and developing the emotional intelligence, resilience, and empathy that allow you to build meaningful relationships. When you focus on your inner growth, you naturally attract the right people into your life. People who appreciate you for who you are and who are on a similar journey of self-improvement. You stop chasing after fleeting validation or attention because you've already found that sense of worth within yourself. And in doing so, you create relationships that are grounded in authenticity, trust, and mutual respect. Relationships that go beyond surface-level attraction and build a deeper, lasting connection. This is where real fulfillment is found, not in manipulating or controlling others, but in living as the best version of yourself and allowing the right people to be drawn to that authenticity. As you continue on the path of becoming the best version of yourself, the transformations you experience aren't just internal, they begin to shape the world around you in profound ways. The mindset shifts, emotional growth, and newfound confidence you cultivate start to create a ripple effect, influencing the kinds of relationships you form, the opportunities that come your way, and the overall quality of your life. What you once sought externally, validation, approval, or fleeting connections, now feels secondary because you've built something far more enduring within yourself, a deep sense of purpose, self-worth, and fulfillment. One of the most liberating realizations that comes with this journey is understanding that true success in relationships and life doesn't come from external achievement or status. It comes from how you handle yourself, how you interact with others, and how aligned you are with your core values. When you're no longer defined by external measures of success, you become freer, more authentic, and more capable of attracting people who share your values. You realize that you're not here to prove anything to anyone, but to live fully and authentically in alignment with your purpose. That's where true fulfillment comes from. Knowing that you're living a life that feels genuine and aligned with who you are at the deepest level. This authenticity also makes you more attractive in a way that's not forced or calculated. Instead of trying to manipulate situations or people into liking you, you're simply being yourself. You've developed an inner confidence that doesn't need constant reassurance because you're grounded in your values, your purpose, and your growth. People, especially women, are drawn to this kind of presence because it's rare to find someone who's truly comfortable in their own skin, someone who doesn't rely on external validation to feel whole. Living authentically also means you're no longer afraid of showing vulnerability. You've come to understand that vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness, and that opening up to others is what creates genuine emotional intimacy. You're no longer hiding behind a facade of perfection or pretending to have all the answers. Instead, you're willing to admit when you don't know something, when you've made a mistake, or when you're struggling with something. This honesty and openness are incredibly attractive because they show that you're real, that you're human, and that you're willing to let others see you as you truly are. Women and people in general appreciate this kind of vulnerability because it creates a deeper connection. It shows that you're not trying to put on a show or be something you're not. You're simply being yourself, flaws and all. This kind of openness invites others to do the same, creating a space for mutual trust and understanding. It's the kind of connection that goes beyond surface-level attraction and builds something much deeper, something that can last, because it's based on truth, not pretense. Vulnerability also helps you become more empathetic in your relationships. When you've allowed yourself to be open and honest about your own struggles, you become more attuned to the struggles of others. You're able to listen with compassion, offer support without judgment, and be present for the people in your life in a meaningful way. This empathy creates emotional safety in your relationships, where both partners feel understood and valued for who they are, not just for what they can offer. Another powerful transformation that happens when you focus on becoming the best version of yourself is that you begin to view challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. Instead of seeing difficult situations or setbacks as failures, you recognize them as chances to grow and learn. This mindset shift is incredibly empowering because it changes the way you approach life. You're no longer afraid of challenges or adversity. You welcome them because you know that each one is a stepping stone toward becoming stronger, wiser, and more resilient. This resilience is magnetic because it shows that you're not easily shaken by life's ups and downs. You've built an inner foundation that allows you to weather storms without losing your sense of self. Women are drawn to this kind of strength because it creates a sense of security. They know that you won't crumble under pressure or run away when things get tough. Instead, you're someone who can stand firm, face challenges head-on, and remain calm in the midst of uncertainty. As you continue to grow, you also develop a deeper understanding of what truly matters in relationships. You stop being swayed by superficial qualities or fleeting attractions and start seeking connections that are based on shared values, mutual respect, and emotional depth. This shift in focus allows you to be more selective about who you let into your life. You're not looking for someone to fill a void or to validate your worth. You're looking for someone who complements the life you've already built, someone who shares your vision for growth and partnership. This selectivity isn't about arrogance or being overly picky. It's about knowing your worth and being clear about the kind of relationship you want to create. Women respect this kind of clarity because it shows that you're serious about building something meaningful. You're not just looking for a casual fling or a superficial connection. You're invested in finding someone who aligns with your values and who is willing to grow alongside you. Another key aspect of becoming the best version of yourself is learning to let go of the need for control. So often, we try to control how others perceive us, how relationships unfold, or how life plays out. But when you focus on your own growth, you begin to understand that control is an illusion. You can't control how others feel or how situations will turn out, but you can control how you show up, how you respond, and how you grow through each experience. Letting go of control is incredibly freeing because it allows you to live with more ease and flow. You're no longer clinging to specific outcomes or trying to force things to happen. Instead, you trust that everything will unfold as it's meant to, and you're open to the possibilities that come your way. This mindset creates a sense of peace and calm in your relationships because you're not trying to rush or manipulate the process. You're simply allowing the connection to develop naturally without putting unnecessary pressure on it. Women and people in general are drawn to this kind of relaxed, confident energy. It shows that you're not desperate for attention or validation, that you're comfortable letting things evolve at their own pace. This creates a sense of freedom in the relationship where both partners feel like they can be themselves without feeling the need to perform or meet unrealistic expectations. As you continue on this journey of self-improvement, you'll find that the quality of your connections deepens. The people who come into your life are those who appreciate and respect you for who you are, not for the image you project or the roles you play. These relationships are grounded in authenticity, trust, and mutual growth, allowing you to build something lasting and meaningful. This process of becoming the best version of yourself isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about constantly striving to grow, to learn, and to evolve, both for yourself and in your relationships. And as you focus on your inner growth, you'll find that everything else falls into place naturally. You'll attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences, not because you're chasing them, but because you've become someone who naturally draws them in. In the end, the greatest fulfillment comes from knowing that you're living a life that feels authentic, purposeful, and aligned with who you truly are. When you're living in this way, everything else, success, relationships, happiness, becomes a reflection of the inner work you've done. You stop needing to seek or strive because you're already whole. You're already living as the best version of yourself, and that's where true attraction, connection, and fulfillment are found. As you continue to grow into the best version of yourself, you'll realize that the transformations you've made don't just serve your relationships, they enrich every aspect of your life. What begins as an internal journey manifests externally, shaping how you approach your career, friendships, family, and even the way you handle daily challenges. You'll notice a heightened sense of peace and purpose in all areas, not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because you're now better equipped to navigate its complexities. One of the most profound changes is how you handle uncertainty. Life, by its very nature, is unpredictable, and so often we try to resist this, to control outcomes, or to seek comfort in knowing what will happen next. But the work you've done on yourself, developing resilience, patience, and emotional intelligence, teaches you that uncertainty isn't something to fear. It's an inevitable part of life's journey, and rather than resisting it, you learn to embrace it. This shift in perspective changes everything. Instead of trying to anticipate every obstacle or challenge, you're able to approach life with curiosity and openness. You understand that challenges are not roadblocks, but opportunities for growth. And you trust that even when things don't go as planned, you have the capacity to adapt and learn from the experience. This adaptability makes you more resilient in relationships, your career, and your personal life. It's an attractive quality that naturally draws people toward you, not because you appear invincible, but because you possess the inner strength to remain steady in the face of adversity. Women in particular are drawn to men who demonstrate this kind of emotional resilience and flexibility. It signals that you're not only capable of weathering life's storms, but that you can do so with grace. This doesn't mean you're emotionless or unaffected by hardship, but rather that you've developed the tools to manage your emotions in a healthy way. You've built an internal stability that allows you to navigate the highs and lows of life without being defined by them. This kind of strength creates a sense of trust in relationships. Trust that you won't crumble under pressure, and trust that you're someone who can provide emotional stability even in difficult times. This emotional stability extends beyond handling challenges. It shows up in how you engage in day-to-day interactions. When you've cultivated self-awareness and emotional intelligence, you're able to communicate more effectively. You're not reactive or defensive when faced with criticism or conflict, and you're able to listen deeply and empathetically. This kind of communication is incredibly powerful because it fosters deeper, more meaningful connections with the people around you. In relationships, this kind of emotional openness and communication builds a foundation of trust and understanding. Women notice when a man is not just speaking to be heard, but genuinely listening and engaging with their thoughts and feelings. This creates an emotional connection that transcends surface-level attraction. When you've developed the ability to communicate thoughtfully and listen empathetically, you create an environment where both partners feel seen, heard, and valued. This emotional intimacy is what turns a relationship from something temporary into something lasting. Another aspect of this growth journey is realizing the power of generosity, not just in material terms, but in emotional and mental support. As you become more comfortable with who you are, you start to give more freely without expecting anything in return. You give your time, your attention, your kindness, and your support to those around you because it's a reflection of the person you've become. You're not giving to gain favor or to manipulate others. You're giving because it aligns with your values and who you are at your core. Women and people in general are drawn to this generosity of spirit. It shows that you're not self-centered, that you're willing to invest in others without needing to control or dominate the relationship. You're not transactional in your approach to relationships. Instead, you're giving freely because you genuinely care. This kind of unselfishness creates a sense of ease in relationships because the other person knows they're not being manipulated or used. They're being valued for who they are. This selflessness also extends to how you view success. As you continue to grow, you redefine what success looks like for you. No longer are you chasing external markers of achievement to feel validated. Instead, success becomes a reflection of how aligned you are with your purpose, your values, and your growth. It's not about accumulating things or proving yourself to others. It's about the fulfillment that comes from knowing you're living your life authentically and meaningfully. This approach to success also means that you're less competitive in a negative sense. You're not measuring your worth against others or trying to win at life. Instead, you're focused on your own path, understanding that everyone's journey is different. This mindset fosters collaboration rather than competition, and people notice when you're not driven by ego or a need to outshine others. Women appreciate this sense of humility and confidence. You're secure in your own success and growth, and you're not threatened by the success of others. As you grow into the best version of yourself, you also start to take more responsibility for your life. You no longer blame external circumstances or other people for your challenges or shortcomings. Instead, you take ownership of your decisions, your actions, and your growth. This accountability is incredibly attractive because it shows maturity. Women and people in general are drawn to those who are responsible for their own lives, who don't make excuses or shift blame. It shows that you're empowered, capable, and willing to learn from your mistakes, rather than being defeated by them. Responsibility doesn't just apply to how you handle your own life, it extends to how you show up for others. You become someone who can be relied on, someone who keeps their word, and someone who is consistent in their actions. This kind of reliability builds trust in relationships, both romantic and platonic. Women notice when a man is dependable, when he follows through on his commitments, and when he's someone they can count on. This consistency creates a sense of safety and security in the relationship because they know you'll be there, not just in the good times, but when challenges arise as well. All of these qualities, emotional resilience, effective communication, generosity, responsibility, come together to create a sense of wholeness in your life. You're no longer seeking validation from others because you've already found it within yourself. You're living a life that feels authentic, purposeful, and fulfilling, and that's what naturally attracts the right people to you. Women and those around you are drawn to your energy not because of anything superficial, but because they recognize the depth of character, the integrity, and the commitment to growth that you embody. As you continue on this path, you'll find that your relationships, both romantic and otherwise, become richer and more meaningful. You're no longer seeking to make someone obsessed with you or to manipulate their feelings. Instead, you're focused on building deep, authentic connections based on mutual respect, trust, and shared growth. The people you attract into your life will be those who appreciate you for who you are, who are also on their own journeys of self-improvement, and who are looking for meaningful, lasting connections. In the end, becoming the best version of yourself is about much more than attraction or relationships. It's about creating a life that feels fulfilling from the inside out. It's about living in alignment with your values, constantly striving to grow and building relationships that are grounded in authenticity and mutual respect. When you focus on your own growth, everything else, success, fulfillment, love, follows naturally. You stop needing to chase or force anything because you're living a life that draws in the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences, all of which contribute to a life that is truly rich in meaning, connection, and purpose. As you continue to embrace the journey of self-improvement and growth, you begin to notice that life becomes less about trying to fit into external expectations and more about living authentically and with purpose. You've come to understand that the greatest fulfillment comes not from chasing validation or approval, but from living in a way that is true to yourself. This shift in perspective is transformative. It allows you to release the pressure of constantly trying to measure up to societal ideals or the expectations of others. Instead, you focus on building a life that reflects your values, your passions, and your inner truth. This authenticity radiates from within, and others can't help but notice. There's something undeniably magnetic about a person who is comfortable in their own skin, someone who is no longer concerned with what others think, but is focused on living with intention. People, especially women, are drawn to this energy because it's real. It's not about putting on a show or playing a role to get attention. It's about being who you are, unapologetically. And that kind of confidence is both rare and attractive. One of the key outcomes of this journey is the realization that true connection, whether in relationships, friendships, or professional interactions, comes from vulnerability. The more you allow yourself to be seen for who you truly are, the deeper your connections will become. When you've done the work of self-improvement, you're no longer afraid of showing your flaws, admitting when you're wrong, or opening up about your fears and insecurities. This openness invites others to connect with you on a deeper, more meaningful level because they see that you're not trying to hide behind a facade of perfection. Vulnerability doesn't mean being weak or overly emotional. It means being authentic enough to share your true self with others. It's about being honest about what you're going through and allowing people into your inner world. This kind of emotional honesty is incredibly attractive because it fosters trust and emotional intimacy. When a woman sees that you're willing to be vulnerable with her, it shows that you're not afraid of depth, that you're comfortable with emotional connection, and that you value the strength that comes from mutual openness. This vulnerability also paves the way for greater emotional intelligence. You've developed the ability to recognize and process your own emotions, which in turn makes you more attuned to the emotions of others. Emotional intelligence is one of the most powerful qualities you can possess in relationships. It allows you to navigate conflicts with grace, to communicate effectively, and to support your partner through their own emotional experiences. When you're emotionally intelligent, you're not reacting impulsively to challenges or letting your emotions control you. Instead, you're able to respond with thoughtfulness and understanding, which creates a more stable, harmonious relationship. Women deeply appreciate this level of emotional intelligence because it shows that you're capable of handling the complexities of a relationship. It demonstrates that you can provide the emotional support needed to build a strong, lasting connection. When you're emotionally mature, you're not just thinking about your own needs. You're also considering the well-being of your partner. This creates a dynamic where both people feel valued, respected, and understood, which is the foundation for a healthy, fulfilling relationship. Another important realization that comes with becoming the best version of yourself is that love and attraction are not about controlling or possessing another person. You're no longer interested in trying to make someone obsessed with you because you understand that true love and connection are built on mutual respect and freedom. You're secure enough in yourself to know that you don't need to control the relationship or the other person's feelings. Instead, you're focused on building something that is based on trust, authenticity, and shared growth. This approach to relationships creates an atmosphere of freedom. You're not suffocating the other person with neediness or trying to manipulate their emotions to keep them close. You understand that a strong relationship is built on the foundation of two whole individuals coming together to support each other's growth and happiness. This kind of relationship allows both partners to flourish, both individually and as a couple. It's not about dependency or obsession. It's about partnership, where both people are contributing to each other's lives in a meaningful way. Women are drawn to this kind of energy because it creates a sense of security and trust. They know that you're not looking to control or possess them, but to build a genuine connection that allows for emotional freedom and mutual respect. This is what makes a relationship truly fulfilling, when both partners feel free to be themselves, to grow together, and to support each other's journeys without fear of manipulation or control. The more you focus on self-growth, the more you realize that relationships are not the source of your happiness. They are a reflection of the happiness and fulfillment you've already cultivated within yourself. You're not entering a relationship to fill a void or to seek validation. Instead, you're looking to share the life you've built with someone who complements your journey. This shift in mindset changes everything. You stop approaching relationships from a place of neediness or desperation, and instead you engage from a place of abundance, where you're already whole and complete on your own. This sense of wholeness is incredibly attractive because it shows that you're self-sufficient and confident in who you are. You're not seeking someone to complete you because you've already done the work to feel complete within yourself. Women appreciate this because it means you're not placing unrealistic expectations on the relationship to meet all of your emotional needs. Instead, you're looking to create a partnership that enhances both of your lives, where you support each other's growth and share in each other's happiness. As you continue to develop into the best version of yourself, you'll also notice that you become more selective about who you allow into your life. You've worked hard to cultivate your inner strength, emotional intelligence, and sense of purpose, and you're not willing to settle for superficial connections or relationships that don't align with your values. This selectiveness isn't about being judgmental. It's about recognizing your worth and understanding that you deserve to be in relationships that uplift and support you. Women respect this kind of self-assuredness because it shows that you have standards for yourself and your life. You're not willing to compromise your values or settle for less than what you deserve. This clarity and confidence are incredibly attractive because they signal that you know what you want and you're not afraid to go after it. You're not looking for just anyone. You're looking for someone who shares your vision for growth, connection, and mutual respect. At the same time, becoming the best version of yourself means being open to learning from others. You understand that growth is a lifelong journey and that there's always more to learn, both about yourself and the world around you. This openness to learning makes you more adaptable, more curious, and more empathetic in your relationships. Women appreciate this quality because it shows that you're not stuck in your ways, that you're open to evolving and growing alongside them. This willingness to learn together is what keeps a relationship dynamic and exciting, ensuring that both partners continue to evolve individually and as a couple. Ultimately, the journey of becoming the best version of yourself isn't about arriving at a final destination. It's about committing to a life of continuous growth, where you're always striving to improve, to learn, and to connect more deeply with yourself and others. This ongoing process of self-improvement enriches every area of your life, from your relationships, to your career, to your personal fulfillment. The more you invest in yourself, the more you'll attract people who are aligned with your values and your vision for life. You'll build relationships that are based on mutual respect, shared growth, and deep emotional connection. Relationships that bring lasting joy and fulfillment. You'll no longer feel the need to chase after fleeting validation or superficial attraction because you'll have created a life that is already rich in meaning and purpose. And that's where true attraction lies, not in manipulation or games, but in the depth of character, integrity, and authenticity that you've cultivated within yourself. When you live in alignment with who you truly are, the right people will be drawn to you naturally. They'll appreciate you for the real, grounded, and fulfilled person you've become, and together you'll build relationships that are meaningful, lasting, and rooted in mutual respect and genuine connection. As you continue on the journey to becoming the best version of yourself, you'll realize that true fulfillment comes from within. It's not about chasing validation or seeking attention from others. It's about cultivating inner strength, emotional intelligence, and living with authenticity. When you focus on self-improvement, you naturally attract the right people into your life. People who appreciate you for who you truly are, not for who you pretend to be. By embracing vulnerability, developing emotional resilience, and letting go of the need for control, you create deeper, more meaningful connections. You stop chasing after fleeting obsessions and instead build relationships grounded in mutual respect, trust, and shared growth. It's in this space of emotional maturity and self-assuredness that real attraction happens, organically, without manipulation or games. The most rewarding part of this journey is knowing that you've created a life that reflects your true values and purpose. You're no longer dependent on others to feel whole because you've already done the work to build that inner foundation. And as you continue to grow, the people and opportunities that align with your authentic self will naturally be drawn to you. In the end, the greatest connection you can cultivate is the one with yourself. When you live in alignment with your values and purpose, everything else, relationships, success, happiness, will follow. You'll find that the life you've created isn't just fulfilling for you, but it also inspires and enriches those around you. So, keep striving to be the best version of yourself and trust that the right people and experiences will join you on that journey.